Hey, what it do? Hey, what it do? Hey. I am back, y'all. We is back with another video, and this is That's More Like It. And I am happy to be back, y'all. Last week we had an amazing conversation with my husband and Deswan. And you had two men of God talking about they walk and talking about the realness of this walk with Jesus. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. From the feedback that I got from people, like y'all really enjoyed it. And so I'm thankful that this pod is blessing people that need to hear it. And you got anything you want to say?
God is good. That's all I got to say.
Y'all, we just got out of church. God is good. So this week, you got me, Mrs. Moore, and you got Mr. Deron Moore. And we're going to give y'all our testimony. A lot of people always ask, like, how y'all get together? How y'all know each other? Did y'all meet in the church? Like, what was going on? And so today we're going to tell y'all our story.
Excuse me.
You want to start?
Um. So, where do we start with our story? Did we start at the beginning, middle school?
Yeah, we could. We'll guys get like a whole thing, but we can start in middle school.
I mean, you remember more of that than I do.
Okay.
Just because I feel like women's memories are y'all remember everything. I mean, I remember. I don't want to seem like a terrible husband. I remember, but you be talking about details, and I'm just like, I don't remember that. It was seventh grade, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't.
So a lot of people always ask, how long have we known each other? Deron and I have known each other since seventh grade, which means we were 12 and 13, and now we are 26 and 27. So that's a long time, right? Um, he was new to the school, and my friend wanted him. And I saw, I was shy, but not for when it was for somebody else. And so I walked up to him and I was like, my friend said, what it do? But she was skinny. And he was like, I don't like skinny girls. And I'm like, oh, well, I said what it do. What's up?
It's crazy.
And shoot, we started talking then. And this was in computer class. He was in my computer class. Y'all, Ronnie was fine. He had like this nice smooth hair. He was light skinned. And he got this thing on his ear, right? And I was so childish, bro. I touched the thing on your ear. I never forget it. You like, girl, what you doing all that for? And I'm like, what's that? Just curious and being Nayana.
Invading my personal space. Why would you touch me, bro? Like, what's wrong with you?
I don't know. I
And
think
you
I just
touched what I was insecure about. Like, why would you, girl, get away
I
from me?
have a funny thing. I have a habit of touching things that people are insecure about and making them feel great about it. Trying to, anyways. That's usually what I'm trying to do. But I think more so, I just wanted to touch you because you was fine, bro. Oh my god.
So you point out the one thing that's odd about me to touch. You could have touched my
I
arm.
think I think I thought it was
Ooh.
odd. I was curious. I was intrigued. Like, what is this thing? But I also wanted to touch you without seeming like I'm doing too much. But I really did too much. I always was doing too much as a kid. But anyway, so I touched him, and he like, girl, what you doing? Woody, woody, woody. We talk our stuff. I feel like it was the next day, but it probably was like weeks later. I really don't know. Middle school is like a blur.
Yeah.
But to me, the next day, we was in computer class, and for that whatever reason, it was two computer classes, but they was connected to each other. Me and him ended up in the other computer class by ourselves, and we was writing each other on the little school email thing. And then I remember somehow I ended up on your lap. Y'all, kids be naughty, bro, because I was 12. What was I doing sitting on this boy lap? Naughty. So I sit on his lap, and I don't know what we was talking about. I remember it being the end of the day. We getting up, we getting ready to leave, or the end of that class anyway. I don't know if that class at the end of the day or what. I really don't remember. And I remember getting up and we talking and we hugging. I definitely remember I was always shorter than you because I remember looking up while we was hugging. And I think I asked to be his girlfriend or something. Listen, young Nayana, shoot, even older Nayana, I was really bold. Like, I've been bold all my life. And I asked him, like, why ain't your girlfriend or whatever? He like, I wish I would have met you first. Because I got a girlfriend on my bus.
I mean, I could have been a player.
No, bro, you broke my.
I mean, yeah, that's one of those things, where it's like, I could have either lied to you and, what I'm saying, told you I didn't have one and been player made and kind of, strung y'all along and then y'all both could have found out versus, telling you the truth. Because I feel like going that route would have just probably did more damage. Obviously, would have did more damage.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, I got to be honest and say, I got a girlfriend already, bro. And she on my bus. I see her every day. And I hardly ever see you. Yup.
Yeah, he did me dirty. So I was like, well, you should have told me that, you bogus. And I was like, talk to me when y'all break up. And then everything else is a blur. I remember we would talk on the phone here and there. We'd be on the phone all the time throughout middle school, throughout high school. Like, we would talk every now and again. I remember seeing him on the bus one morning, but hiding. I stayed at the front of the bus. He got off the back, and I was so thankful.
You talking about the city bus?
Yes, on the city bus. I tried so hard not to see him. I feel like I was embarrassed about being on the bus, but we was both on the bus, which didn't make no sense. And it was like, what else I was gonna be doing? Driving? I'm only like 15.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you don't really think about that stuff.
Mm-mm.
When you. I mean, even with me being honest with you, I just, it wasn't like, bro, I can't lie to her. But I gotta tell her the truth. I just, when you said that, what came out of my mouth was just, oh no, I got a girlfriend already. Like I wasn't really like contemplating whether or not I wanted to lie to you or not. So I feel like a lot of the stuff we don't think about it. And that's just, I feel like how even kids, young people are, and they just do stuff. They don't be thinking about stuff. They don't be thinking. They just do it. So it's like,
Yeah,
I
I
wish
should
I
have
would have
went
saw
to.
you.
Yeah, I wish I would have came to the back of the bus.
Mm.
But I literally sat right in the front. I saw you in the back. You had the fro.
Maybe I do. Maybe I seen you, and maybe I did. Maybe I was feeling the same way. Like, damn, I hope she don't come back here.
I don't think you see me. I used to do my best to not be seen. I used to try, like, I used to literally hide myself and like make myself invisible. How I did this, I don't freaking know. But I used to basically like make myself invisible in places all the time.
Mm.
Like all the time. People would literally just walk past me and I'd be like, whew, they didn't see me. Yeah, I had the ability to make myself invisible. So if I didn't want you to see me, you wasn't gonna see me.
Mm.
But fast forward to, yeah, we go through high school, we see each other. I think we was talking senior year. Well, first of all, yeah, we was talking senior year.
Conversing.
Yeah.
Because when you say talking, people are gonna take that as we was dibbling.
Okay, we was conversing.
I was dabbing in you. You was dibbling with me.
Okay, we was conversing.
Dipping on you. You was dipping on me.
You know what? I don't know. So senior year, we was conversing, and it was like we was getting somewhere. To Ronnie, he was doing some whole other stuff. So, senior year, we conversing, and to me, we getting somewhere. But Ronnie was doing, I don't even know what he was doing. He was doing some other stuff. And I was supposed to come see him, and he was supposed to come see me, but it never happened because I was always so shy. And so like we would talk about meeting up, but we never would. And we was talking that summer, and that summer is when you met a girlfriend. Well, she became your girlfriend. You met a girl, she became your girlfriend, and you didn't tell me anything. You ghosted me.
Mm-hmm.
Ron ghosted me, and I was hurt. I was trying to call him and text him, and he was just not answering his phone. It like, what happened, bro?
I
Tell the
ghosted you.
story.
I ghosted you.
But what happened while you ghost me?
Well, whenever I was dating somebody, if I had female friends, I just always felt like I couldn't. I felt like I was disrespecting whoever I was dating at that time by having friends, I guess, who were of the opposite sex, just because I know that it's not a real thing for you to be a man and you have a friend as a woman and y'all call each other best friends or all that. Even if we because for me and you, we would have been considered best friends, even though I would have never given you that title and vice versa, just because what best friends usually would do, we would do. So I had to cut you off
But why
because
you ain't tell me though? This is to help somebody.
oh, okay. I'm
Cause
like
you know
I'm like
people
because
be
oh,
people
okay.
be out here ghosting.
I mean, well, part of it was like I didn't want to confront. I didn't want to be confrontational. I didn't want to have to tell you all of that just for you to have to give me a reason on why I got to explain myself. Or you hardly ever come across people who, when you're conversing with somebody and then maybe you find somebody else who you think is a better candidate, you just date them and then you just now you gotta basically tell that person like, yo, like I know we've been kind of just conversing for like 8 months, and we've been, but now I'm actually dating somebody. They're gonna be salty. But I mean, now the like who I am now, I know that like it's better that way. Just cause you know you get that closure. If we never actually spoke again, or even if we did, right, like at least why, versus like you're left wondering like, well, what happened? Was it me? And just being upfront and just having integrity and just being bold, really honestly, right? Just like this is what it is. We've been conversing, but not gonna lie, there's somebody else who just kind of walked into my life and I'm feeling them. And even if it like crushes that person in the moment, you know, they uh they at least they have the audacity to be able to move on. Versus
Yeah.
like if you really like somebody and you just sprung out over them and you find out that they are like dating or they're into or whatever the case with somebody else, that'll crush you.
Yeah, whole time it wasn't even that she was better, bro. She just was in close proximity. I was far.
Yeah, I'm not a long distance type of dude,
I was far away. I wasn't going over there.
and then I think and I think that's something that like even we do to like we as young people do today. Like we could be on Facebook chopping it up with somebody, and if they say one thing that's off, we just ghost them. Don't say
Yeah.
nothing. So for me, it was like I don't ever see you. We just text. We be on the phone. You know, it was almost like because I don't see you, I could ghost you and just look forward to never seeing you. But we might text every day, talk every day on the phone. We might even video chat, which I don't know if they even had that
Mm-mm.
at that point. If they did, you had to use
Skype.
yeah, probably Skype, yeah. And so for me, it was like it's easy to just cut you off, just snip snip. I don't gotta explain myself to you. Why I gotta tell you why I want to talk to you no more? Can I just not talk to you no more? Like, That's what it was for me, bro. I ain't feel like I had to tell you. I'm just gonna not talk to you.
Yeah, and so with him just feeling like he wasn't gonna talk to me, I am a very curious person, and I've always been a person that likes to communicate their feelings. And so I needed to know why. I needed closure because I felt like I did something wrong. Like, what did I do? How was I not good enough? And and that was trauma from my childhood too. Not feeling like I was good enough. And so I I made a magic jack. I made a magic jack and I called him from the magic jack number and he answered. And I was like, Duran. And he was like, who is this? And I was like, Nayana. I'm like, what happened, bro? What happened to you? He was like, I'm about to text you right now and tell you what happened. And he sent me this long text message about how he met somebody else and how he ain't want to tell me and why he didn't want to tell me and why we didn't work it. He explained himself, but that was because he kind of at that point ain't had no choice. But I'm not gonna lie, that one conversation turned into us talking dang near every day.
Cause, bro, why you keep trying to get in contact with me, fam?
He still
Dang,
had a
bro.
girlfriend, and I'm like, I could be your friend, bro. I could not be this man friend. I wanted to be his girlfriend so bad because honestly, I could see that Duran was a good dude. I could see it. I'm not slow. I was never stupid, bro. I could see that you wasn't like nobody else. And so after that day, we literally texted every day. We would text, we would kick, and I
Which was
think
a messenger app.
yeah. Oh yeah. If
You
you
gotta,
for you new people or for you really old people. I mean, not really old.
you
Lord
gotta
forgive me. Don't get mad. I called
older,
you older people.
older people.
Kick was a messaging app where you could basically almost like text somebody, and so we would kick.
See, you gotta say that. I just felt somebody like, oh, they was sexing up.
No, we was kicking, and so we kick, and I think his girlfriend ended up finding out.
We was sexing up though.
You know what? Duran, we was not doing that.
Not yet.
And so his girlfriend ended up finding out about it. And he was like, okay, I got to stop talking to you. And I'm like, I was kind of mad, but it was like, okay, cool. And then I think that's when I told you, like, she was lying and all this other stuff that came out. Listen, Nayana is an investigator. I should have been a detective, but I didn't go in for that. I also should have been a lawyer, but I didn't go to school for that either. And who knows what I'm doing in the future. But that's what I should have been because I knew a bunch of stuff about people that nobody had to tell me. I just knew stuff. And yeah, I told him and he was like, nah, you lying. He defended his girlfriend like he was supposed to do. And then he found out the truth that she was lying. And they broke up and I was like, yay! And and he called me like, that's crazy, Deanna, how you know all that stuff? And it's like, boy, I trying to tell you. He was salty. It's okay.
Man, I was grateful. I was grateful that you told me and it came to pass and everything came to light. You know, I was naive. I was young. You know, of course. I mean, I'm gonna defend my girlfriend. You
Yeah,
know,
that's what you were supposed to do.
yeah, man. You know, I just, you know, I don't really regret none of the stuff I've been through just because I was able to learn something from it.
Hmm.
I do think there are things that I just could have avoided, but you know, a lot of the relationships that I was in, I used to regret them, and now it's like, you know, I learned something from all of them about myself,
Yep. And you learn
and
something that you could teach other people.
yeah, man, like if you ain't dating to be married, man, you might as well just be single. Enjoy the gift of being free. That's what it is when you're single. Because when you get married, you have to die every day. And you know, there's a point in time where it will feel like it's free. Like right now, I feel free. But then there's also a point in time when you're married when you know it's a struggle because you have to love your wife like Christ loved the church and he died for her. So we have to die every day. And not everybody wants to die every day. Including me. I don't want to die every day. And so sometimes that be feeling like I'm in bondage, but really it's all a lie because I'm not in bondage. I chose marriage. You chose marriage. We chose to be married. And so, I have to speak over myself and tell myself that what I'm doing is a lie, bro, because we're actually free. We're free indeed. And I have favor. That's a better F word than free. Favor. I got favor just because I got you.
Y'all heard him. He basically said I'm his good thing. Okay. Because a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. That's what I'm going to name this because that's going to tie everything together. But anyways, so basically when they broke up, we got back cool.
We was cool. We was chopping it
We
up.
was chopping it up,
I'm
brother.
pretty sure I cut you off again though.
Bro,
You
he cut
know,
me off like 17
this
times.
really stemmed from, and maybe this will help people or more so men, but it really stemmed from the fact that I grew up in a household where we didn't like. I grew up in my mom and dad married. There's three of us as far as siblings, and so there's five of us. We didn't really talk about like much. We didn't really express our feelings when we did. It wasn't really in the most healthy way. I feel like even the communication between me and my siblings, it wasn't always like how I see it in movies or even maybe how I see it in some other families that obviously have worked it out and worked through it, right? Because it's almost like it's like a muscle. You got to work it out, and so since I didn't really since I didn't like come from a household that showed me what healthy communication looks like, I just went out in the world and basically, exuded or portrayed what it is that I saw. So I cut you off because that's what I saw. I saw
Yeah.
cutting off. I didn't tell you because that's what I grew up around. I grew up around something happened and we don't talk about it. So I mean I felt bad about it. Don't get me wrong, because you called me and I was at the park when you called me playing basketball, bro. And you called me, and I'm like, oh, dang, man. Okay, I got to explain to her why I didn't tell her because now she got me on the phone, and now this is awkward, it's weird. You ain't heard from me. The last time I talked to you was, I was single. Now I'm not. And so it's like, when you brought up a certain way, whatever way that is, it will, if you allow it, it'll kind of um, dictate how it is that you interact with everybody in the world. And so, for me, it was like, I think cutting people off is cool. I mean, that's what I've seen. So, I had cut you off so many times and then I was so ignorant to the fact that that was the case. It wasn't until I got in my like 20s, maybe like a few years ago, where I realized like, you know, um, I have to almost we I almost have to learn again, or even learn for the first time what healthy communication looks like, which is hard in itself because now I'm married, right? And now we have a daughter. Or I wouldn't say it's hard, but there are hard times that I have struggles. And
Yeah.
so now I have to learn how to do something that that requires I have to now learn how to do something that in marriage and being a dad and being in ministry like requires you to do literally just that. And so every day every day there's a push for me to be better at communicating. And I do believe like that's where that's where it came from. I cut you off because that's what I saw.
Yeah. And I mean, it was kind of like a cycle. It was like a back and forth cycle. Like one minute we'd be talking, and then the next minute he'd have a girlfriend, and I'd be cut off. Then we'd be talking. Then they'd break up. We'd be talking again. Girlfriend cut off. Like, and it just kept happening over and over and over again. And I just like, I think we got to 2019, and that's when like things started to kind of shift
The
just a
lucky
tad.
numbers.
That's the lucky numbers.
No, we don't need no luck.
But yeah, in 2019 is when things began to shift differently. Like it was the back and forth, but then in 2019 is when we kind of got closer. I think it was more so, but it wasn't a good close. It was lust. It was full of lust. I would call that lust.
2019, 2019, 2019.
2019.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it was more so like I think 2020 was the year that we was expecting to happen, but no, 2019. Yeah. Well, I'm in college. Last year for me, I graduated that year. I think for you, you was going through a transition yourself. Um, I had been single for a little while. I hadn't really been single for a long time, at least since high school. I probably went like maybe between like 3 and maybe 5 months of being single, which isn't a lot of time, bro. It's just not. Like I just I went through periods where I was single and then bam, I was in another relationship, and I was in it for maybe like a year, got out, single for a couple months, few months,
And I
bam.
used to try to always tell him like, Ronnie, you need time to be single by yourself. And I feel like he thought that I was saying that because I wanted him, but in reality, I could see like it was a cycle. It was literally like him
Yeah, I
doing
mean,
the same thing over and over again.
to me, it was like, bro, come on, bro, what you mean? You don't even know me like that, bro.
That's really what he thought.
Like you don't even know me like
Except
that,
in
bro.
2015, if you go through our Snapchat messages, you told me like I seem to know a lot or something like that. You was like you seem to know everything or something like that.
That's how I ain't gonna lie. That's how I used to feel. Like I used to think you knew everything, bro, because you just, what I'm saying. You just would say stuff, and then whatever you said, it'd be like, dang, she said that. I mean, well, Nana's always right.
No.
Nana
Sometimes I be
always,
wrong as ever.
Nana always know. But that's how I used to like. I used to look at you like that. I used to look at you like that. You knew everything.
I thought I did.
Oh yeah. Well, if you got people telling you like, girl, if you're not careful, it's gonna go to your head. What you did, it went to your head, and so you then went from knowing everything to being a know-it-all. That's when I wanted to like pop your head like a zit,
You know what? I'm
squeeze it,
popping my head like a
squeeze it.
zit.
Yeah, because when you a know-it-all, you got all this thin stuff in your head that you. But if I squeezed your head, then what was in there maybe would have came out like your ears or something. Because then you
My
would
ears is in my head, or it would have came out my
it
ears.
would have came out your ears. You got the people on there just laughing at you
Bro,
right now.
because you sit here talking about
I'm
popping my
comparing your
head
head
like
to
a
a
zit,
like a
and
zit.
then
Yeah,
the stuff gonna come out of my
you want it to
ears.
come out your head.
I would think, because if it's a
If
zit,
I if it come
wouldn't
out
it
your
come out the middle?
yeah, but that means you're gonna die. Your head gonna be open. I don't want your head to be
Oh,
open.
so
I
it's
want
gonna
you.
come out of my ears. So it's gonna
Yeah,
like, so then
it's gonna seep out your
you just gonna,
ears.
and then
That was a very graphic. I mean, I don't really know how it's gonna work. I just know it's gonna come out your ears. But that's what I done with you. That's what I used to want to do. Nah, but yeah,
2019. Let me tell y'all
2019.
what I did. Okay, so 2019. No, I ain't do nothing. Ronnie slid on me. You slid on me in
2019.
2019.
I
Yeah.
thought that was 2020.
Nah, brother. 2020, I slid on you, but you slid on me.
So 2019, yeah, I graduate college.
No, not yet.
Oh, we're not there yet.
Mm-mm. 2019, August. Or like
Oh,
more so, like, yeah.
well, yeah. So I'm still in school. That's my last semester in the fall. I've been single for maybe a little over a year now, right? Which is, so I said all that single stuff to say like now
In 2019?
at this point, yeah, because the relationship I was in, it ended at the end of 2017.
Dang on what?
So I have
See,
been
I didn't know none of
so
this.
I have been single, right? And when I say single, I do mean single like I might have, and I, this I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Like, you know, this is before I like really gave my life to Christ, right? So I ain't ashamed about none of the stuff that I didn't did, and none of the stuff I went through. But I was single, but I was still out here searching, and I wasn't out here like doing nothing crazy. I was sleeping with a bunch of women, but I was just searching. I was mingling with women online. Obviously, I was a little. I don't know what I was. Maybe I was a little shy or something. I was some. It was like I had confidence online, but when I was in person, it was like I became like a nerd or something, a geek, and a lot of women wasn't into it, so they kind of just Negro please. But yeah, I had been single for a while, and so I really wasn't like dabbling into like everything, right? I was more so just I feel like being single, out here trying to see what the world has to offer, looking at all the different kind of women, right? I'm about to graduate, so I'm trying to get me a job. And come August, finishing up my last semester, I remember like we threw on a house party. We threw a
No,
house
that's
party.
not 2019.
That is
Buddy. You in
2019.
2020,
No,
brother.
no. We had a house party in my apartment, where I went to school at, because that's where y'all, you and your friends.
That wasn't no party.
That was a party. It was a party before
See,
y'all
I
got there.
gotta tell the
It was a party
story.
before y'all got there.
Okay.
We threw a house party. That was for a pub crawl.
Y'all threw
Y'all
a house
came,
party?
y'all came up there for pub crawl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody threw a house party.
You ain't tell me it was no party.
I mean, it wasn't no crazy party, but we
He
had
ain't
people.
tell me it was no party.
6 years later, like what you talking about? What?
You ain't tell me it was no party, brother.
Did I know you was coming up there though?
Yes. In 2019. See, that's why I said we gotta pause and go back. So, first of all, I had went down there twice. If we're gonna talk about becoming to Oshkosh, the first time I went to Oshkosh was in like 2015 when his best friend, now wife, invited me down there. He had a girlfriend. It was so embarrassing. And I came down there and I really wanted Ronnie to talk to me, but I knew he had a girlfriend. They was in the room and I was mad and I was looking stupid. Fast forward to 2019, August 2019, you hit me up like, am I trying to match? That's where we starting at, brother, because that's where everything started at.
So what I'm thinking about was before that, then.
After.
No, it was before.
When I came to Oshkosh?
Didn't you come to Oshkosh early
I came,
2019?
no. I came in 2015 and I came in November of 2019. After we was already talking.
Oh,
See, that's what he was talking about when he said we be remembering key details.
wow.
Yeah.
You know,
I came in 2015 and you didn't know.
in my defense, y'all, I was a stoner back then. Like I was out here like getting high a lot. So when I was in college, a lot of the stuff is kind of a blur. But before that, it's just, I wasn't smoking before I was in college. So, if I don't remember, I don't remember. But in my defense, when I was in college, a lot of the stuff, time is flying, or sometimes time is sitting still. I'm floating, or, maybe I'm not floating, but I'm walking, but my legs are numb. You go through the motions of being under the influence. A lot of stuff, man. I get it mixed up just off of the fact that most of the time I was high.
Yeah, me too.
High as a kite.
Honestly, with stuff like that. But when it comes to you, it's different because these are like big pieces of my life that led up to where we are now.
Yeah.
Because this is part of my journey with you.
I guess that's good that you said it, because I guess to me at that time it wasn't big to me. It wasn't.
Not at all.
It wasn't. It was like, oh, Nayana up here, she's chilling.
Whole time I'm like, oh, this gonna be my man.
Y'all, I love my wife, but sometimes I'll be like, girl, what? This might just be my man, cause
that was good. Y'all, that was gonna be my man, bro. I didn't care. I was, bro. in the last relationship he was in, bro, I used to be checking his Instagram like, is he single yet? Because I know this is not the one. And what's so crazy is to this day, I'll be like, bro, what made me be like that? Because what? What? That's crazy. God knew though. That's what it really is. The spirit in me was like, no, we supposed to be attached to him. But anyway, so whatever happened, 2019 August, you hit me up and you like, you trying to smoke,
trying to
match, whatever. And I'm like, Ronnie don't smoke, bro. I'm like, boy, you don't smoke. You don't even know how to roll no blood. Boy, you don't smoke. And he like, what, girl? I be chopped. I'm like, never. So this is my opportunity. And I'm taking it. I'm like, boy, I'm about to, where you at? I'm coming over. Look, I got the weed. I got the, oops, can I say that on here? I got the trees. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. You know, they be flagging videos and stuff.
Yeah, you can say weed.
Oh.
That's legal in
yeah. So I'm like, I got the weed, I got the blunt. What it do? He like slots. So I'm like, bet. Had my best friend drop me off, bro. Terrible. It started off terrible. I get there, he taking 30 years to come outside. My best friend like, you never about to be out here waiting. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, girl, this is Duran. I'm about to wait.
I guarantee y'all, I was on the couch
high slumped. Already.
Slumped
he
over.
Like, I'm about to come outside, bro. I was sitting in the car. I was outside for like 10 minutes. She like, now you not about to, or she called me Nani at the time. She's like, you not about to sit out here and wait. I'm like, bro, I'm about to wait. I'm like, girl, you can leave. I'll sit on the porch. Bro, this is so sad.
I really believe
if you anything like that, please change. Because he didn't want me like that. I just want y'all to know that. That's why we got to tell this story. Because he didn't like that version of me. Absolutely not. That version of me did not get him. At all. So, listen to the end. So, anyways. So, he come outside. We sit there. We talk. He got his little laptop. You know, he an engineer. Working.
I brought it outside?
Yes, you brought your laptop outside. You know, you an engineer. You had to show off a little bit.
Oh, gang him, bro. Don't ever disrespect me like that.
Bro, he had to show off. Like,
maybe I had some work I had to do, Sitter. What you mean?
And they used to be like,
wait, I really came out with the laptop?
Yes, you came outside with your laptop.
What was I doing on it?
Something that I ain't understand.
I probably had a project or something I was working on.
I don't know. It was something for work, though.
Yeah, you know, I was a software guy back then, so. Yeah. Dang, she said I was showing off, y'all. That's crazy.
So he on his laptop. Whole time I'm thinking I'm about to go in the house and everything. He at his mom's house, though. I didn't know what kind of parents Duran had. Even though we used to be on the phone, I used to hear his mama yelling and all type of stuff. I didn't know what kind of parents he had, but I did not get to go in that house.
See, what that meant when you coming in my house, because you know I was gonna be my mama, it was gonna be my daddy, my sister, and if my brother was there, my brother. And
that's why I said I didn't know what kind of parents you had, because you know you can go in like when I used to be out here, bro. I used to go to people's house. I ain't meet nobody. You just take them straight to the basement.
That sound like some.
I'm just being honest.
You just take them.
You go straight to the room, bro.
Oh my
you
gosh.
Go straight to the room.
Oh Lord. Not to go straight to
the. If he take you to his room, don't go over there. Ooh, don't go to his house.
Straight to the basement.
That ain't your husband.
And you in the basement, which means you can sneak past everybody.
That ain't your husband. Don't go to his house.
You thought I was going to take you straight to the basement?
Duran.
Lay your body down. Let me touch your body. You thought I was going to lay you down? That's crazy. Whole time.
Shows you where my head was.
Wow. I'm glad we're telling this story. I never knew that from. That is deep.
So we sit on the porch for a while. We didn't smoke for a while. We sat and talked. And one thing about me and Duran, the whole time we ever known each other, we was gonna talk, and we could talk for hours. I don't know if it was because of me, because I could talk, but we would literally talk for hours. We would literally talk all the time until we fell asleep on the phone. Till he fell asleep, because I wouldn't fall asleep. Until he fell asleep on the phone, and I didn't hang up. So we was talking for hours, and then it was finally like, oh, okay, you about to smoke, and then we get in the car. I roll up, of course. I'm thinking he about to roll. He didn't even know how to roll.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Hold up.
You didn't know how to roll.
Now, I'm not glorifying my past now, but I was very good at what I
No,
did.
you was not at first. In 2019, bro, you could not roll.
You're probably right, maybe.
You could not.
I just,
You
because I don't
you told me you didn't used to have to do it.
You're right, I didn't. I had people doing it for me.
Yeah.
Right.
He didn't have to do it. So I rolled because I was cold. I used to have a long nail. You know what? I sound a little too happy.
Hey, that's why I said, like, I don't want to,
I sound a little too happy that I could roll you know what. But yeah, we sit in the car, we smoke, we get out, we talk, we walking and talking. I'm feeling like I'm on cloud 9, and not just because I'm high, but because I'm with Deron and we spending time together. I feel so good.
I remember that. We walked around a little. I remember that.
We walked and talked. It was cute to me. And so then I think after that day we would hang out a lot more. Like he would come over my house, and this sex came into the picture. For the sex.
Oh, I don't know what I thought you just said.
Yeah, what? Sex came into the picture. No,
of course.
We were not married.
We weren't married, but we also wasn't submitted to the Holy Spirit
at all.
So it was like, we out here living willy-nilly, smoking weed and driving high and all type of crazy stuff. Yeah. We was out here like, hey, but I went over her house one time, and I definitely tried to sleep on the couch.
The first time he tried to sleep on the couch, but I really think he was trying to play it smooth.
I am really like. Now that I sit here and we say this story, we telling it, and I'm really like a genuinely nice dude.
Yes, you genuinely
I really tried to sleep on the couch.
And I really came and got him.
And he's like a fisherman.
I said, what you doing?
Like, oh, okay, here I come.
I said, what you doing? Cut that line. He like, what? I'm asleep on the couch. I said, boy, get in here. Come in this room.
But me. Oh, well, I mean.
He lying, though. He really was trying to play it smooth. He knew I wanted to let him sleep in that room.
Okay. Since we can be transparent about it now because, we.
You really was going to sleep on the couch?
No, like.
Oh.
I kind of was expecting you to come in there and be like, what you doing? I'm sleeping on the couch. Oh no, you can come sleep in here with me. All right, bet. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's get it cracking.
Yeah, and then we ain't gonna go too deep into that story.
I mean, y'all know.
Y'all know what it is.
I'm just grateful we ain't had no kids.
Thank you, Jesus.
We wasn't married.
Deron, low key though, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna just be transparent. Deron. Y'all, this might be a little bit too much for y'all. If this too much, this ain't the show for you. But Deron definitely, like, we thought I was pregnant one time. He was like, I'm going to just marry you. And I was like, because you going to marry me because I had a baby. I don't want to be your wife because I got pregnant.
And that's what she thought. But we was gone.
I didn't want to be his wife because I got pregnant. I wanted to be his wife because he loved me.
We was gonna get married.
And he was like, I could learn to. And I'm like, that don't even.
I could learn to love you, that girl, don't even and I'm gonna marry you. And
right.
We gonna have a happy.
That didn't even sound right. So we in the car, we talking. We would talk about being in a relationship and stuff. And one day, Deron was just like one day he just flipped the switch. I don't know if he was back, like if he was normal this day, or I don't know what happened, but he was just like, no, Nana, I'm not looking for no relationship right now. I want to finish my last semester of college single.
That's what I said?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. And I was like, I'm salty. Because you said you wanted to focus on your studies. You said you've been in relationships your whole college career and you never got to sit and focus on school. Nayana heard, I don't want to be with you, so I'm going to use school as an excuse.
Yeah, no, and I mean, me now would have been able to say it way better then, but like all I really was trying to say was, I just don't want to fail school.
Yeah.
Focusing on trying to focus on you and that at the same time.
Yeah. You said it. You said it really good.
I think I could have broke it down a little
It
bit
was a
more.
trauma response thing. It was kind of like
Well,
that.
it both of us. I
It was
was.
PTSD. I had PTSD with you.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because over and over again, he was always choosing somebody else. And so this time, I'm like, bro, he trying to choose somebody else. You know what
You trying to choose school over me?
He don't want me. He always choosing somebody over me.
Yeah,
Shoot.
no, it was more so like, listen, like I literally got like, this is literally my last semester. I got like 8 weeks before I graduate, and I could just see how like focusing on you and that and all everything else can kind of like distract me. So I'm like, listen, man, I like you. 'Cause it's kind of hard to tell somebody that you kind of been chopping it up with for so long, especially when they ready to go further. It takes a lot of boldness to tell them like, yo, like, not right now.
Yeah.
Especially with us, because like you said, you had PTSD. You felt like I kept choosing other people over you over and over and over again. And so, how do I come and tell you like I would love to build something with you, but you're going to have to wait until I graduate.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
And because of the type of person I was, I still felt like we could talk while you wait.
We could have. We definitely could have. I just didn't know how to tell you like,
I don't think we could have because only because of the way that everything went after that. Like after that, it was like, okay, we kind of like we still was talking. Don't get me wrong, we still was talking. But then I started noticing stuff about you that I was like, I don't like this, and I could tell you didn't like me the way that I liked you.
mm, hmm
Like I feel like you like me more as a friend, and even though I was giving my body to you, it still wasn't enough.
yeah, which is
And
why it's important that
wait for sex, bro.
yeah, because I think it was and it's crazy that this has come to me now that we are like talking about it, but I believe that because you gave your body to me, right? It was almost like your value in my eyes, whether I seen it or not, right? It could have been like a subconscious thing. It almost like went down, basically. It decreased. Whereas like if I'm chasing after you and I didn't have your body and maybe a few other things, right? Um, it could have been actually it could have been different. It
Yeah.
could have been different, but and as the man, I could have turned it down as well too, right? Like you gave me your body, but I could have also said like, no, you're gonna wait. I don't want to take your body from you.
But I think
I
because of the place you was in at that time, you was just you wanted to be somebody friend with benefits. You said that. You told me that. You told me that.
I mean, yeah, but still like I could have, cause I was trying to be something that I wasn't, and again, I was out here soul searching, but just doing it the wrong way, and so like I said, I wanted a friend with benefits, but my heart really wanted to be somebody's, the one, right? Like, or even like what Pastor was talking about today, a safe space, right? I just wanted somebody who I could be safe with, right? Somebody that I know for sure at some point, we're gonna get married, we're gonna have kids, the whole 9 yards. And I got to a space where I was just like, man, maybe there ain't nobody out there for me. I'm just gonna be out here tricking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find somebody, and we gonna do stuff, and then I'm gonna.
And honestly, that's where I was. I really wanted to be I really wanted a safe place for me. And what's crazy is you were always a safe place for me, which is why I wanted you so bad. I literally could tell you anything. Like I
Yeah,
could come and just pour everything out to you and you would really listen. Like,
I could to you too. I think when it was just something when it was concerning you, I just got very non-confrontational, and
yeah.
I didn't want to tell you
Yeah,
because
cuz you did used to tell me everything too.
yeah, we used to have really genuine conversations, and I think it's the small stuff like that that really plays more of a part in relationships versus like the things that we think matter, like how a person's hair looks, or you know, um, the small stuff. I mean, your booty is everything to me. I'm sorry. So I was gonna say that, but I'd be lying, right? If you had a small booty, this wouldn't work. It just wouldn't. I'm just being transparent.
Oh my
I
gosh.
gotta have a lot of that. It has to be a lot of it, a lot, which is why I have you. And so, but I think the small stuff that we focus on, I really, the things that we make big, we focus on, are things that really don't matter. I think it wasn't until later where I realized, like, the fact that we could just sit and have like genuine conversations, it just makes me want to give you more kids. You know, you see a woman and they pass the eye exam, right, and they look good, but then it's like you sit and you talk to them, and um, you just can't really see yourself going further with them. But it's something about sitting and talking to somebody and them connecting with you in a way that only can come by just conversing with them, right? Y'all learn more about each other. It's a beautiful thing, and so yeah, we was able to sit and talk and have long conversations. But I mean, in the end, like I said, I wanted a family with benefits, but really, what I wanted was like I really genuinely wanted a companion, which is why when we get to 2020, when we'll get there in that part of the story, why everything changed for me the way it did. But I still could have been that man to say, because I did. I've done that a few times in my life where it was like, no, I'm not going I'm not going to take your body. We're going to preserve it for maybe me or somebody else. Then there was times in my life where I'm like, give me that. I ain't preserving nothing. So but with you, because you're my wife now, and you know at that time I wish that would have been the case. Where it was like, no, we gonna just save it, right? For me, it was just like, oh man, this is another opportunity for me to just, you know, we gonna do stuff, and then we gonna be cool, and then whenever we want to do stuff, we just hit each other up, and
Yeah.
it just it'll
Yeah,
be like
but
a cycle, and
and that never worked for us because I liked you way too much for that to ever work.
yeah.
Like I literally was waiting my turn, and it just didn't work out that way. Later, I go to Oshkosh and I go hang out with him, spinning me. Like I we was supposed to meet up at the club. He didn't come to the club we was at, and I'm with my friends. It was kind of embarrassing.
Now we got to put everything in context. I would have been in there, right? Because I came with 100 ones and
Wait, no,
singles.
not that club.
What club you talking about?
Not no, not your birthday.
Oh, okay, 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 okay,
No, not
okay.
your birthday.
Not
This
my birthday.
in Oshkosh.
Oh, was I? Oh, it was right across the street.
You still was supposed to be in the where I was
I
at.
Hey, but listen.
Okay, I'm
I'm
listening.
high, so I can
Don't do
remember.
drugs.
I could right. Well, like that's why we keep talking about the fact that we high, bro. Because like a lot of stuff happened, and it was just like a blur. I woke up, and people would tell me all the time, like, bro, you don't need to be smoking because you just don't remember nothing. I'd be like, yeah, that's true. But like when I used to get high, I would do stuff like look at my phone, read a text message, it'd tell me like, all right, we on the way, Or now we on the way. Hey, listen, we at this bar right across the street. Come slide through, or just something in that ballpark. All right, let me go get my friends so we can go. I go to my friends. They get to talking about. They get to talking to me about something, and now we just chopping it up. What's going on, bro? You know what I'm saying? I didn't forgot about the fact that I'm supposed to be going somewhere doing something because I'm high, bro. Like,
And I was with my friends. I was kind of embarrassed. I'm like, dang, he done had us come to this bar. He not even here. What is he
nah, whole
doing?
time there, like I knew we were gonna run into each other.
Yeah.
Just because there's not too many bars in the city where you can go to. They're literally all in the same
But I was
vicinity.
there for you. I wanted
I
to
know,
be with you
I
the whole
know,
time.
I know. But you came with your
And then they
friends.
was looking for the dude.
Who?
They like, where his
Oh,
friends at? What's going
yeah.
on? Like,
See, my thing is, I'm like, they in a college town, so like, if they don't see me, they gonna see somebody.
we ain't from
And I
here.
know you coming for me, but you with your friends. So if you was by yourself, it'd be different because you alone. You know, you alone. But you was with four other girls, so I'm like, she good. You know, I'm gonna get up with her when I'm gonna get up with her. I'm not telling you this either though. Like, listen, we gonna link up. I'm at this bar right here. You know, with my guys. I got some. I ain't saying. I just read it. Okay, we gonna link up. It never happened. I mean, we ended up linking up, but it didn't happen the way
Yeah, no,
it was
we
supposed
ended
to.
up coming across the street, coming to the bar y'all was at, and hanging out. And even then, Duran was just that night is even like I feel like I blacked out because I don't remember nothing about being in that bar.
I remember us being in the same bar, and granted, like at that time, bro, the bars used to be packed. I'm talking about like, at some point, sometimes you could barely move. You could barely get through, and so it was like, you was with your friends, I was with mine. I seen you. Hey, how you doing, girl? Woo, woo. Okay, I'm gonna go to the bar, grab a couple of drinks, and I'm gonna try to link back up with you. I might not. Like it was that pack. It was packed. It used
And
to be
that's
packed in
sad.
there,
I'm
bro.
here
Like
for him, and he's talking about I'm gonna link back up
I'm
with
gonna
you.
link
Boy,
back up
I'm
with
here for
you.
you. I'm in a whole nother city. I'm not here. I'm not here to see these people.
Man, you better have a good time. Shake,
I'm
shake,
whole
shake,
time.
shake,
I'm
shake a
here.
little.
I'm literally there to see him. We finally get to the apartment, or yeah,
Where it
to
was
our
more
apartment.
personal. Yeah, we can get more personal.
Whole time by that time I was too high and drunk to remember anything. I ended up just going to get in your bed.
Yeah, we sat in the living room and we was all just sitting there chopping it up, for the most part, and you know, we I think we ended up like smoking again, and then it got to a point where it was just getting late, and then everybody went to sleep, and the next morning I kind of felt a little. I don't know if I felt a little bad or what it was, but I'm like, I'm trying to go to breakfast, just me and you. You trying to sit down and and chop it up, and she like, no, I gotta go. My friends at the hotel waiting for me.
Yeah, so they was checking out their hotel that night.
Yeah, so I ended up having to take you back to your hotel, and y'all ended up driving back.
Yeah, and we left, and then that was when things kind of shifted. Like he would come back and forth to the city, but he wouldn't talk to me. And then it was like you would be at in Oshkosh, but you still wasn't really talking to me. You wasn't answering your phone. And so then I started like I think this is when my mind started shifting about my value of myself. And I was kind of like, okay, this is like, bro, I'm tired of going through this. We about to talk about it. And I called your phone, and it was dark, and I could hear his cousin in the background. But he said, "I'm ain't in the car with nobody." And he finally tells me, like, Nana, I gotta tell you something. He basically tells me he never liked me, and the reason why. Okay, he tells me
Cause she be hearing what she wanna hear, bro.
he tells me why he doesn't like me. And
Right.
he says that the reason that he doesn't like me is he doesn't understand why I have to talk to more than one person at a time. And he feels like I allow people to be in my life and hurt me, and I don't do nothing about it. And I understood both of those. But I also, because of trauma, I heard I don't like you. That was all I heard. Even though he said those, and I just felt like it's always something wrong with me. Why am I never good enough? Like that was what it was like a pity party. Instead of me hearing what he was saying and kind of like trying to change it, I had a pity party for myself. And we got a chance to talk about that, and after that, I was like, okay, well, if that's how you feel, I'm done. I'm never.
You was done
I'm.
chasing me?
Yeah,
Cause you wasn't
I
done,
literally get.
girl. You
I
wasn't
literally.
done.
I gave up chasing him.
So I was in the car with one of my cousins, and I think he had just informed me like, yo, there was this person, being Ayana, who contacted me, and she was just kind of, she had questions on how maybe she could get to know you more, get closer to you. Why am I the way I am? And he was just transparent with me, and he was like, "Yo, man, you just got to be honest with her. Just tell her how you really feel. And so when she called, I was sitting there talking to him. I lied. I was like, "Ain't nobody in the car with me?" Whole time she can hear him in the background because he talking and mumbling stuff. So then I had to be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I got cuz here with me. But I ended up telling her in that moment what I told her, and it wasn't that I never liked you. I did like you. It was more so why we would never go further. Like I liked you, but what I didn't like about you was stopping me from just all right. Because I could have bagged you at any point.
Yeah.
Not saying you was easy to bag but you really had a thing for me. And I had a thing for you. You really had and like you said, you liked me more than, and I emphasize this part for a reason. You liked me more than I liked you, and so I could have. And I'm gonna come back to that. I'm not gonna really dive into that right now, but I could have I could have had you. I could have, just because of the simple fact that, like, bro, you had been around. Because I don't like to think of it as, you was waiting your turn. I mean, you kind of was just in my life for so long. Like, you wasn't like, yeah, I'm finna sabotage their relation. This one right here, I'm finna sabotage it, and then when this one go wrong, I'm gonna try to jump in, and that almost I'm trying to think of like what TV show, because there's TV shows out here where the girl is likes the dude. Oh, almost like Phineas and Ferb. I feel like that's a good one. Like you like
Yeah.
we can all see that she likes him, but
How Candace like Jake,
that there we go. I was talking about the little
but
ones.
Jake kind of liked her too.
I mean, kinda.
Yeah, I don't think he even noticed
I
all the
don't
way that she liked
no,
him.
but that's what that right. That's what we're getting
Yeah.
at, right? She was so googly eyed for him, and he was just like the most genuine, the most like, it was never like a I know she liked me, or it gave off like, bro, he really can't tell that she like him. Like, she's head over heels for him. Like, everything Jake,
Yeah.
she, what I'm saying, she was to die for. And so, it almost kind of was like that, where I liked you, but you liked me more than I liked you. And I had to sit in the car that day and think, like, man, what would really be stopping me from really pursuing a relationship with Nayana? Because if I really wanted Nayana, I could have her. It's not a matter of me wanting, or me getting her. Like, what is stopping me? And so in that moment, I had to really stop and think. And I remember telling you, and even in that moment telling you, I had to really step out on, I do believe, faith and boldness. More so boldness, just because, man, like,
Yeah.
for you to hear like why I wouldn't want to pursue a relationship with you when I've been given moments literally prior to that to tell you, but just didn't know how.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough, especially like in front of which, like, he ain't like he ain't nobody to you, so it ain't like, he finna shoot his shot. And no, it was like, and for me to kind of like give you that, while he was there, I had to really be bold, because I had a lot of opportunities before where I could have been like, you know what, and they like, I do like you, and I think we could be dope, but you
Yeah.
just gotta, I don't like this. Like,
And
why is
and
this?
you said that you said I like you, but I don't like you enough to tell you that you have to change these things about yourself. Because if that's who you are, then that's who you are. I'm not gonna try to change you.
I did say that.
And the sad part about it was if he would have told me, it would have gave me a chance to change because that was something that I didn't like about myself. I didn't want to date multiple people at a time, but all these people that I was dating was playing games. If you would have told me like, okay, I'm serious about you, I would have cut everybody off at the drop of a hat.
Yeah, I
They
think
would have been gone.
what I had told her in the car was I didn't like the fact that I was always a put all my eggs in one basket kind of a guy, whereas she was, if I'm dating, I'm gonna just have an egg in multiple baskets, and
Whichever one hatch first.
yeah, whichever one. Which I do believe all of those baskets were baskets that you liked. It was just like it's kind of hard to choose, and so whichever one gives
No,
me.
they all just wasn't choosing me.
Oh, that's heavy. See, so that's because I knew it was something deeper as to why I didn't like that about you. Well, no, I don't like that in general. I don't. I just disagree with the fact that people just date like multiple people. It's just I don't know. I guess people give their own definition of dating. I guess you could say in the way I did too. But if I'm dating you, I'm dating just you, and that's how I was. And so I like Niana wasn't a liar about none of this stuff. If she was dating multiple people, she would tell you. And I didn't like that. I didn't know how to tell her, but I didn't like it. And so in that moment when we was in the car, I told her like, this is why, this is why, this is why. And mainly, you date a lot of people, and I don't like that. And I just felt like if that's you, then I shouldn't try to change you. But like you said, if I would have given you the chance sooner, then
Yeah, because I that wasn't me. That was who I became because that was normalized in the
yeah.
culture that I was in.
Hmm.
Wasn't nobody choosing one person? Didn't nobody want to be married? I had gave up on the whole idea of marriage, which is why I wanted you because we had the same morals and values, but you would have never known that on the outside looking in. You would have had to have a conversation with me to
Yeah.
know that
Yep.
that's what I want too. But the people that I'm dating, none of them want that. So I had settled for the idea that I would probably never get married.
Yep.
And so hearing that from him, it hurt me in that moment. And, my best friend, girl, F him type of thing. And I think that was when, like, I got deeper into, like, finding my value of myself. And I kind of stopped dating. Like, it was kind of like, you know what? I quit. Like, this is really irritating. I quit. I quit. I literally quit.
That needed to happen.
I
There was a
literally,
shift.
it literally was a shift in my life. And right after that, my ex had put his hands on me. It was like complete, total shift. And 2020 came. My life, the COVID happened. My life failed. But church started being on TV, or not on TV, online on Facebook. Church on Facebook that changed my life.
Hmm.
I was able to tune in the sermons now on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm watching sermons and I'm like, wait, Jesus, I miss like what happened to God? I would pray, but I wasn't praying every day. I was tired of living a life of sin.
I
I
barely
was
was
I
praying.
was tired of everything that I was in. I just wanted a better life for myself. And I was in darkness for so many years. I'm like, how am I not making it out? Why is it not getting better? Every time it seemed better, it got worse. Every time I took 10 steps forward, it felt like I got knocked back 20. It was like, why is every time I take a step, I fall? Like, what is happening? Why can't I get up from this fall?
Ooh.
And just fast forward, um, after like once COVID started getting old, went back to business. Business was booming. Got my first apartment. Had a boyfriend I thought was right. It was terrible. God rest his soul. But that was a terrible relationship. Um, things was just like things was seeming up, but I was still down. And I'm just like, this is not making sense. So while all this is happening, I'm losing weight. I was looking good. I was fine, y'all. Whole time, in the meantime, between time, Duran is reaching out. Duran is like, let's go here. What you doing? What's up? And I'm just like, mm-mm. And one day though, he did reach out while I was staying with my mama before I got my apartment. He like, "What you doing? I just moved into my own crib. You know, you can come over." I'm like, "Okay, I'm in my mama's house." He's like, "Oh, okay, call me when you leave." I'm like, "Wait, what? I live here." And he was like, "Oh, okay, call me when you done spend time with her." I'm like, "Bro, what?" Never came and got me. During COVID, everybody went to Walmart, run into him at Walmart. He just like, there was always chemistry between us that I don't think that we ever noticed. I don't think
or we ignored.
or we ignored it because, bro, the chemistry was so strong. When we seen each other in Walmart, it was like, what? Or I seen it and he didn't. But I
I like
noticed
that you keep
it.
pointing that out. That's good.
What? That
That
I seen in it, yeah. Cause something had to keep drawing me back. I think I just could tell that there was chemistry. There was something here. And we see each other in Walmart. We chop it up. We talk for a minute. I'm like, "Boy, what you doing over here?" He's like, "Well, girl, this my hood." He ugly, bro.
my hood.
So yeah. So then later on, fast forward, because I'm just not trying to spend too much time in this in the old. Even though we've spent an hour
I
and
mean,
something in the
it's
old.
there's a lot in our testimony that will,
Yeah.
I believe, that'll help,
Yes.
somebody. And
A lot of
it's
lessons learned.
we have to decipher what's like good old and bad old. I think what we're talking about is good old,
Yeah.
just because when you get up into that point where you're talking about Walmart and all that, like there's a shift that happens in our lives that if we weren't conscious of or aware of, it could have went over our heads, and all this stuff, and
Yeah.
we wouldn't have been able to actually share it or whatnot. So I mean, yeah, I see you in Walmart, and this is in 2020. Do you know what time around the time this was? Was this
It
like,
had to be like, I was staying with my mom already. You was living on Center.
yeah, I was living on Second and Center.
So it had to be probably like May. Because it was after everything started opening back up.
Mm, man,
So it had to be May because everything closed in March.
it's crazy that all this stuff
And I
really
was staying
happened.
with my mama already. And I moved back with my mama in April.
Yeah, so I mean, you fast forward, um, and now, uh, I'm still I'm still a software engineer. I'm kind of working from home now, just because the company I'm working for is it's a smaller company, and I'm sort of kind of working from home. Some days I'm going into the office, some days I'm not. Um, but at this point in my life, um, I'm struggling. I am still desiring to be with my ex, and which I do believe was a big part of the reason, or I wouldn't say a big, but it had something to do with the fact that we wasn't together.
Yeah.
Because even though I was single for almost 2 years, yeah, because we went our separate ways. I think at the end of 2017, maybe in the beginning of 2018, and so 2020 comes. Yes, it's either almost 2 years or it has been 2 years. I still have a desire to be with her, and we are still in communication. So in a way, I do believe, and this is just my perspective of it. I do believe that I was being led on, but I just was naive to it. And so, like, I was still in communication with her. We would hang out every now and then. I would have wanted it to be more than it was. And so again, if I got all my eggs in one basket, I was anticipating, and I was very consistent on, like, I'm gonna get I'm we're gonna get back together, and you know I got a good paying job, I got my own place, I got my own car, like I got my stuff going on, so you know what's going on, like, what I'm saying. That's usually what women be looking for. They're looking for a man who got their own job, who got their own, their own house, their own car. taking care of his own, taking care of his business, doing his thing. And so for me, in my head, I'm like, yo, I got everything that I feel like a husband is supposed to have. And at this time, this is what I think, right? And so I'm like, we're gonna, I'm gonna work it out. We're gonna get back together. We're gonna do what we gotta do, and then, eventually we're gonna get married. And so I'm in this space where I'm struggling, where like this is who I want, but I know what I want. I know my worth, and so now I'm in this space where I'm searching for something other than a relationship. So I come across a devotional book who was given, or I'm not gonna say who, but I came across a devotional book that was given to me. So I would read it every day. It's just one of those books that got a Bible verse at the top. They got something in the middle, um, concerning the Bible verse itself, and just kind of speaking to, or really is just God speaking in that middle part, and then at the end there's a prayer. And so you had one for every day, and it was a 365-day devotional book, and so I would read it every day. And that book, I mean, I still got it to this day. That book is on point. It'd be days where I'm going through stuff, or at least when I was really reading it, there'd be days where I was going through stuff and I would read it, and it was like, man, like this is really speaking to me. Like this is really God. So I was in a space where I'm like, in a way, I'm searching for God, but I didn't know I was. So I remember getting to a space where I'm like, okay, God. I remember praying to God, and I asked him, I was like, listen, Lord, I want this. I want this person. Can you like? What did I say? I said, Lord, I want this person. Reveal to me whether or not this person is from you or not. And I'm paraphrasing. I don't really remember the prayer that I prayed, but I do remember just asking God, like, God, I need your help. Like, I'm longing after someone. Is this? I think I asked, like, is this the person for me? And I just remember it felt like the scales was just removed from my eyes, right? And so when I got around this person, I would feel a certain way, right? Butterflies, all this weird stuff, right? I thought I was in love. The whole time I really wasn't. I do believe I was lusting after that person. And it was more of a, they looked good, right? Bible talks about when Jesus is talking to the Pharisees, and I love this verse. And I'm not throwing this at her, but I think this is just something that like we need to keep in mind in general, right? The Bible talks about when Jesus was talking to the Pharisees, and I think they was trying to trap him with scripture, and he looks at him and he's like, you guys are filled. He's like, you guys are beautiful on the inside, or you guys are beautiful on the outside. You got your tuxes on, you got this on. He said, but on the inside, your bodies are like dead people's bones, right? And it was almost like that was the scripture I got in that moment, right? Like on the outside, this person was completely stunning, right? Passed the eye exam, but on the inside, dead people's bones. They were filled with dead people's bones. And I do believe we have people like that even to this day, right? They might be drop dead gorgeous, but their heart, right? Their mind, their spirit, even their soul has decayed and is still decaying. And so I'm like, man, help me out, Lord. Show me some. I remember being around that person a few times, and it was like I was they would do stuff that to me didn't seem weird. It didn't seem out of the ordinary. It didn't seem, I probably thought it was cute. I used to get around them and I'm like, what? You do this all the time. Oh no, what is that? Oh man, I remember being by myself one day, and I was just like, wow, like I can really see this person in a whole nother light, like in a whole nother in a way that maybe I should have been seeing, but because my eyes, I was looking at them from lustful eyes, or I was looking at them from eyes that they weren't mine. They weren't my eyes that I was looking at this person from, and so literally it felt like the scales fell from my eyes, and I was literally able to see And I was able to see to a point where like my emotions wasn't able to lead me anymore. So even though like we had all this time we spent with each other, right? We had been in a relationship for almost 3 years, right? And it was one of those things where it's like, oh man, we was together for so long. I don't want to throw all that time down. We had been together for so long. All of that, none of that mattered to me no more. It was like, okay, I get it. I see, right? I was blind, but now I see. I get it now. This person don't want me. They never wanted me. And so I literally was able to move on. And it's funny when you move on, whew, they come running back. I moved on. I did. I ended up like, okay, you know what, God? I'm just going to focus on you. I didn't realize that I was doing at that time, but that's what I was doing. I'm going to focus on you. I'm going to try to pray more. I'm going to try to just do stuff that, I know that you like. And, you know, that's the space I think that was the space that I was in. If I wasn't in it already, I was getting to that point when I ran into her in Walmart. So, we fast forward, we get to my birthday, 2020, September 6th. We were throwing a house party. Well, I ain't gonna say all, but some of my friends at that time. Um, my roommate was inviting people. My brother. I had some family there. We just do a little kickback. And I think I ended up posting it everywhere on social media. Nayana sees it and she's like, "Yo, you having a kickback?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "What's the addy? Right? What's the address?" Send her the address, and so I'm anticipating. Okay, Nayana's gonna come. And I'm not really talking to nobody, so I'm not worried about okay, Nayana showing up and then all these other girls showing up. That I'm like, no, that was really the case. That was never the case. So the day before the kickback, Nayana shows up. Nayana thinks that September 5th is the day of the kickback, and it's September 6th. Or honestly,
It wasn't actually on
it
your
wasn't actually my
birthday.
birthday. I think it was a couple days before. It was that weekend. I think my birthday might have landed on a Tuesday or Monday or something. And so we just wanted to have it on the Saturday. But she comes Friday night. She comes Friday like, yo, I'm outside. It's Friday night. I sent her the day. I sent her the time. I even sent her a location. You know where I live. She shows up the day before like, yo, I'm outside. I'm like, what? I'm outside for the kickback. I'm like, bro, the kickback's tomorrow. Oh, really? Like, yeah, that's tomorrow. Oh, okay. But I'm like, no, you can come in. You can come in. Dog. And I'll let you tell like what you was feeling in that moment. Like,
Okay, so the place that I was in personally, I was trying to get closer to God. Always, always could hear God in different ways, but I was dabbling. I ain't gonna lie, I was dabbling in witchcraft, and so like deja vu was becoming like a big thing for me. I thought I was a psychic. I was about to start reading tarot cards. I was into angel numbers, and so like I would do like when I would see the numbers, I would be like, "Oh yeah, what that mean?" And so I started studying numerology. I never made it past the number 3. But yeah, so that's the place that I was in. But to me, Jesus was in it somehow. I was not gonna let go of Jesus.
none of that.
Like, you couldn't get Jesus out of my life. I believe that Jesus died on the cross for my sins, and he rose on the third day, and he defeated death, and that I would when I left this earth, that I was going to a better place. That is what I believed, and you could never turn it away from me. And so I was trying to find Jesus in all of these things because these things seem to work. I ain't know nothing about church. And so that's the place that I was in, but I was searching and seeking for Jesus so bad. And I wanted to stop sinning. I wanted to be better. And so when I was still going out partying, drinking, smoking, I was still doing everything, but I was still like pray sometimes. And after that, I hit Duran up and I show up to the kickback a day early. And when he on the phone and he like, you don't want to, he like, oh, you can come up. I'm like, wait a minute. What?
Yeah, girl.
I don't even like Duran at this point. Like, at in the back of my head though, I think I still did. But like, to me, I was like, that's weird. So I go in And when I walk in the house, I just feel I could tell he looked at me different, because the way he looked at me, it was just different. It was a way that you had never looked at me before.
That was the shift.
Like, it was a way you had never looked at me before, and and I felt seen.
You felt seen?
I
Yeah,
felt seen.
you acted like it too.
Like I always, like, people always seen me, but they didn't see me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they never seen who I truly was. But I felt seen by you for the first time ever.
Yeah, so I believe what had happened was, I do believe that you didn't realize it, but you was in the right place at the right time. You showed up when you were supposed to. But
And whole time I showed up late. I went to a kickback so that I
right
could
before
be
you
late
came,
to
yeah.
his kickback, so that by the time I got to his kickback, the party would be started.
Whole time she was like Uber early. Like you a whole day early, my G.
Crazy.
I don't even think that's a record. Who shows up to a party a day early?
Crazy.
Kickback at that. Day early. Yeah, no, there was a shift that I believe happened. I believe, or I think we believe actually, that when she no longer was pursuing me, it was it was almost like now I'm almost given permission to pursue her. It's weird, man, because for the longest, like I never had the desire I did to pursue Anna in the manner that I did. And like I said, granted, at that time I was, praying and God, man, I really, it wasn't a prayer I was praying often, but I had prayed it a few times. Like, Lord, my heart. Um, I just, I want a wife. I want somebody, and then if it takes time, that's cool, right? But I want somebody for me. And so, we get to that space, and she shows up, and when she comes up the stairs, it was almost like, granted, me and Ayana have known each other for more than 13 years, but at that point, I think it had been like 10 years or something like that, right? So, I've
No, I think it was 12 years then.
12 years then.
Because I was 24.
Wow.
It's been like
It's
been like 15 years now.
Too long. Yeah, so I had always seen her. I'd always seen Ayana, right? I had always, now when I was in high school, I ain't gonna lie, I probably would have got you pregnant. I'm just being honest. Like, I don't know. I must have been just. I was at. Well, we was in high school. You was at your own high school. I was at mine. I wasn't really on social media like that either. I wasn't on Facebook. So, but it was crazy. We'd be sitting down looking at her high school picture. I'm like, girl, you was like that. I should have been trying to get you pregnant in high school.
And that's what I said. I never felt seen, because even in high school, I feel like when I look at pictures now, I'll be like, bro, I was so beautiful. Nobody ever told me.
I would have been trying to get you pregnant.
I did not know. I did not know I looked like that. First of all, my body was cold. Like, I mean, my body's still cute, don't get me wrong. But in high school, bro, stop playing.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, that was you? Wow. Lucky. I definitely would have. I would have. Yeah.
Cannot.
Yeah. And so, I had always seen her, right? But it was like when she came up the stairs, it was like I seen her, but it wasn't through my eyes. It was almost like I seen her through the lens of, I want to say God, because Jesus is big, bro, right? So he ain't looking at you like I'm gonna look at you, right? But God gave me a set of lenses to be able to see her in a way that I had never seen her, literally. And like you said, you was losing weight. So, you came up the stairs. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Oh man. Like, that's the same Ayana that's been trying to. Oh, might have to try to do something. I have to try to slide up in. Now, these are thoughts that's going in my head at that time. I'm being honest. Like, I'm praying, but I'm still in the world. and I'm of the world too. So I'm like, I might have to slide up in that. I might have to go see what that be about. I might have to make that mine. I'm thinking, all the the, the wrong stuff. Some of it is good stuff, making you mine, but like trying to slide up in that, obviously that was way too soon. That was way too soon in my thinking. And so I was literally able to see you though in a way that I had never seen you before. And I believe that only it only got to that. It only happened because of the space that I was in, right? Where I'm walking closer to God. I'm not as close, right? I'm not as submitted as I am now. I wasn't praying as much as, I didn't have a desire to pray. I wasn't reading my Bible. I wasn't really doing much of any of that. And so I tried to stop smoking. I did. I was at that place. I'm like, I'm done smoking. I relapsed obviously, but so when I seen you, it was just like, wow, okay. And it was then where I started to pursue you.
Yeah.
When you no longer had a pursuit for me is when I had a pursuit for you. And I think there's I think that's why I said, like, if we weren't careful, we could have missed that, just because I do believe that that is almost a key principle in dating when it comes to male and female. If the male is not pursuing you, he ain't ready. I ain't even gonna say he ain't the one. He ain't ready. If he ain't pursuing you the way Christ is pursuing, or the way Christ pursued the church, he ain't the one. Because the Bible says, he that findeth. And I feel like I've talked about this in our first video, right? But it says he that findeth the wife. And it says it in that manner for a reason. It doesn't say she that findeth the husband. He, when he's ready, findeth the wife when she's ready. She that findeth when she's ready a husband. It says he that finds a wife.
Yeah.
Meaning, when I saw you in that moment, you were already a wife. You just wasn't my wife. And I was able to see that. I was literally able to see that in that moment. I was able to see that, okay, like, this somebody's wife. In my head, that's what I'm saying. Whole time, you my wife. I just, I didn't know it. Because everybody's walking around here is somebody's wife, right? Somebody's husband. It's just a matter of.
No, some people ain't nobody. No, I'm just playing.
Dang,
They ain't ready yet.
That's, yeah, and then but that's why I say when he finds a wife, it doesn't mean, because when I found you, we weren't married.
Yeah.
But you were a wife.
Yeah.
You were.
I was ready to be a wife. I feel like I wasn't a wife at first.
But you had all of the quality. So it's to the same thing, right? If you were delivered from alcoholism, right? The only way you're gonna know you're if the Lord delivered you from being an alcoholic, the only way you would know that no longer is a temptation for you is when you're around it. You won't know until you're in it, right? And so, in the same manner, you won't know if you're a husband or a wife until you're in it, right? You at that point, you probably thought you weren't a wife, but if you would have got married the next day, you would have known, because you a wife now. You
thought I would know.
You gotta now exude all these wife characteristics. You gotta do what wives do according to obviously what the Bible says, and husbands got to do what husbands got to do according to what the Bible say. But I believe that like I believe the word, obviously. So when it says that he that finds a wife finds favor, right? When I found you, you were a wife, right? And there are obviously things that we struggle with. There are traumas that we had. There were things that we struggle with that we obviously brought into our marriage that we're like getting to the root of, right? So that obviously we have a more healthier and more foundational marriage. But when I found you, you were a wife. And when I found you and I made you a wife, when I made you my wife, that is when I had favor. That is when favor literally started to come into my life in a way where I had never seen it before. And so I believe that that's critical, right? If you're dating somebody, and you being the woman, you're not being pursued the same way Christ pursued the church, um, he's not ready, right? Because women, y'all are not supposed to be getting on y'all knees and proposing.
Absolutely not.
It's a matter of us getting down and proposing to you, right?
Yeah.
You are the church or the bride, and we are, the ones marrying you, or in according to the Bible, Jesus. And so, if we not pursuing you the way that Jesus pursued the church, then and even in that, like, that pursuit, it grows over time, right? Jesus, his pursuit was perfect, right? His pursuit didn't have to grow. He came into the world ready to, what I'm saying. I mean, he had his moments, when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he like, yo, like, is you sure? Like, this for me, what I'm saying? But he was sent into the world to do literally one thing, and he completed it right. Whereas, like, with us, our pursuit grows every day. So there are days in our marriage where, like, my pursuit has to go just a little bit deeper than it did yesterday or last week, just because of, maybe what's going on at that time, right? Maybe there's a battle or a fight that we're going through that we just, we praying that thing through, or, maybe it's something financially, right? Whatever the case may be, right? But we have to pursue the wives the same way that Christ pursued the church. And like I said, he died for the church. And so I have to die to myself, right? I can't have pride. I can't have selfish ambition. I can't even have selfishness. All of these things have to go in my marriage. And so, but this is something that I learned over time, right? But in that moment when I saw you, I saw, okay, like, that's a wife. I didn't know it at that time, right? But that's why I believe when we sat and we reflected on that, it's like, man, that's so good. Like, what changed, right? Because like you said, we weren't playing like hopscotch the whole time, right? Like, it wasn't like, okay, I'm liking you and then you liking me, or like, no, the whole time you liked me, and throughout that whole time, like, I kind of liked you, right? And then out of nowhere, when you don't like me, or not even that you don't like me, but you're not pursuing me anymore, now it's like, I want you.
Yeah.
It's like,
And it wasn't like
what was that?
and it wasn't like a, oh, you give up now? Oh, now I want you. It was more so like it was just the way that it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
Like
I do
he didn't
believe that.
even know that I was like I gave up.
I didn't.
He
He did.
didn't know.
She came to the kickback really just coming to kick back,
I
right?
liked
Kick
the
back and
I
relax.
at that time I liked to
She liked to
party.
party,
So I
so
was like, oh, I'm where the party at. And it was Duran's party. But at the same time, I wasn't coming over there to talk to him the way that I had been trying to talk to him before. I was in a different space of learning to value myself. And so I was holding guys to a whole different standard at that time. Wasn't nobody spending the night at my house. Wasn't nobody getting close to me. If you wanted me, you was gonna have to show me that you want me, and you was gonna have to show me how much you want me, and you was gonna have to, like, you was really gonna have to bring it. You was gonna have to show me you was the best candidate. And so I didn't at that time. I wasn't putting my eggs in no basket. Show me what it is that I should see. Show me why you're the choice. I had a lot of options, but I had no choices. This was the only choice that even made any sense. When Deron wanted me, I had plenty dudes like, girl, I want you to be my girlfriend. I want you to be my baby mama. I want you to be my wife. I want you to da da da. Yeah, okay. Show me. Oh, I could. Then they get to acting crazy, trying to choke you up. Why are you talking to this nigga? Like, wait, no, that's not you showing me. That's not you showing me. But Deron literally that night that night that I showed up for his kickback, he was like, "What you about to do?" And I'm like, "We about to go on Water Street." And he like, "Oh, well, we coming with you." And I'm like, "Wait, what? Why is he acting like he don't want me to leave? This is weird. This is weird because Deron never acted like that before." And literally that night we spent a little more time together, and he was about to drop me off at home at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And he like, "Can I spend the night with you? I just want to lay behind you. I ain't gonna touch you or nothing." Now I know Duran. I know he wasn't gonna touch me. And so I'm like, okay, that's where he like, I miss laying with you. I'm like, this is so weird. Like this was so weird for me. But it's like I wanted to see because I always liked him. So I wanted to try it out. I'm like, okay, let's see how this is. And he spent the night with me. That morning he got up, he went home to get ready for the kickback. I went to the kickback again. This is how I knew I still liked him. At the kickback, it was this girl walking around calling him Bae.
You know, I'm the man of the party, so I'm man of the hour. So you know,
She
everybody.
was walking around calling him Bae, but she was skinny, and I'm like, he don't want her. But I, I still was a little mad. Then I see him talk to another girl in the hallway. I'm like, bro, who is these girls? What's going on? He not even coming to talk to me, but he'd come check on me, like, how you doing? Are you having a good time? But he couldn't actually enjoy the party because you was too busy watching the door and
Yeah, you know, we was on second and center, so you know, we had, you know, I was able to like establish relationships with people on that block and the block before that, which was first and center. Then you get to Holton. You know, if you from Milwaukee, MKE, you know, like second and center, that's rough around the edges. So we had people, you know, in our house, you know, from the block, you know, they walking in with guns and all type of crap, and I'm on alert because I don't really got nobody watching the house, right? I'm a sneakerhead. I got all my shoes in my room. I gotta make sure that nobody walk in there and see my. Oh yeah, we finna get bro. You know what I'm saying? Take all my shoes. Like I wake up the next morning, all my shoes, clothes gone. Like I'm pretty sure I had a game system. Like, so, you know, I'm making sure, right? Like, ain't nobody taking my stuff. And I remember me and my cousin at that time, because it was her birthday. Her birthday is the 8th, mine is the 6th. We got into like this like heated argument. Cause she's like, man, you're not even enjoying yourself. Like, I'm like, I am enjoying myself. I'm walking back and forth. I'm chopping it up with everybody. Like, I mean, even if we had a party to this day, right? Like being the man that I am today, I would be doing the same thing I was then. I'm gonna be walking around, chopping it up with people. You know, I can't be confined to one space unless, of course, I have to. But if it's a venue or something, I'm walking around, I'm chopping it up with everybody. And so, you know, I think at that time they didn't really. I was trying to explain it, but again, I'm drunk and I'm high, so you know, I probably didn't say it the way I should have said it or the way that it would have made sense. But I was just walking back and forth, and so, you know, I'm enjoying myself, and you know, I remember Nayana bringing that up to me, and party comes to an end, everybody leaves. Nayana,
I left too.
you left. That's what I was trying to think. I'm like, you
I
left.
still don't know how I got back.
She came back, y'all.
I don't know how I got. I really feel like I called him because I told his cousin to watch him because it seemed like he was getting angry and some other stuff, and he left. Yo, Kendall left, and I called you, and I think you told me to come back because why else would I was gone.
I think you asked me like, you want me to come back? I'm like, yeah. You end up coming back, and you know, you was in the kitchen. It was me and all the other guys in the kitchen, and you sat down. And I'm over there gassing you up, like, y'all see who's sitting right here, man? Look at her. You like you look like a deer in headlights. You like, who are you talking about? Like, you, girl. You know, but you know, this drunk high me. You know, I got all the confidence in the world. I'm like, yeah, girl, you
He
out here.
was gassing me
Yeah,
like, y'all see
girl.
who here? I'm like, bro, Durant is acting weird.
Whole time, you know, I'm just trying to pursue you.
I'm like, bro, who is this guy?
I may not be doing it the way, like, you know, God want me to do it, but I'm doing it, right? You know, I'm doing it. I mean, well, you're right. Yeah, you know, you at that. I think for that time, it was like
I would like that today.
It was, huh?
I would like that today.
Oh, gassing you up? Yes.
Yeah.
No, of course. I'm supposed to gas you up. You know, but I'm saying like in the manner in which we was going about it. I was high and drunk. You was drunk and high. We was at a kickback.
Yeah.
Right, like I could just gas you up right early in the morning when you wake up, when your wig is still stuck to the bed.
You know what vibe, bro?
You get
not my wig stuck to the bed. Hold on.
You gotta go back and get it. And then,
hold on.
No, but like, you know what I'm saying? It's just in the environment in which all of it took place. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, obviously it wasn't pleasing to God, but you know, for the most part, yeah, you know, guys.
So he put me there. He was like, "Oh, this all about to work."
Facts. It's just we couldn't stay there, which is why we got to where we are now. And so, you fast forward, we spending a whole lot of time together.
I feel like since I've been with you, I haven't been away from you. But aside from when I went to California.
Yeah, you went to California in September. You went
Yeah.
down there to see somebody. You came back, and we probably had. We rarely had days apart. We would spend every day with each other. Um, she had her own apartment. I had my own place, but we was really more so at your apartment than we was
Yeah.
my place.
I liked my apartment so much.
Yeah, and because I guess
Oh, I had central air.
I had that too. I didn't. I ain't so we was at her apartment.
But his house was nice. I liked your house.
I did too. It was dope. My
Yeah.
landlord sold it on us though, so we ended up having to move. So I ended up just moving in with my. I ended up moving in with what at that time was. No, we wasn't dating yet, was we?
When you moved in? Mm-hmm.
We was, yeah, because I was on the phone with my mom and I was talking to her, and because I'm such a organized, and I try to be like a perfectionist. I'm on the phone talking to her, and she like, "Where you at?" I'm like, "I'm at my friend's house." She lost her wig. Her and her sister. Oh, your friend, huh? What you mean? I'm just your friend? Well, no, I mean, you more than that, but I can't just introduce you as my girlfriend over the phone. I don't know. In my head, I'm like, there's this whole perfect introduction that has to happen, right? Come to my parents' house. You guys meet, we sit down, we talk, and we sing Kumbaya, we drink tea. Everyone gets to everyone gets to know each other.
And I don't even drink tea.
You know what I'm saying? So in my head, I'm like, I'm not gonna introduce you as my girlfriend to her over the
And
phone,
whole
right?
time I have been introducing to him to all my family as my boyfriend for like the past 2 weeks. So I'm like, what do you mean your friend?
But listen. We had never actually sat down and fully discussed.
No, we didn't.
Like, okay, like let's take it to the next step,
Yeah,
right? Like, I like you, you
we
like
didn't.
me. I'm
Because
feeling you, you
what
feeling
really
me.
happened was we did sit down and you kept telling me I want to be with you. I want to be with you. I want you to be my girlfriend, but I wasn't
You
ready.
wasn't right, and to that point, when you say like you had raised your standards and your values, and you had all these options but no choices. Like, she said I was the only choice, but she made me work. Like, even though she liked me, it wasn't like, okay, you know what, weekend, I tell you serious, let's do this. No, like, she really made me work for like months, I want to say. And so, she went around and this is my boyfriend, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go along with it, but like, don't expect me to mention you as my girlfriend because we ain't talked about it. We got to talk about this. So we
And
end up going in the room.
I want to pause on that part. I made him work. I don't like, even though I pursue him for years and he finally started pursuing me, I didn't just was like, okay, I'm hopping on this train. No, I made him work because I knew my value and I needed to know that he wanted me for me and not just because I didn't want him no more. Because in my head, he seen me glow up. He think I'm fine now. So now he want me.
I
And
mean, you was fine,
I
but it
needed
ain't
to
had nothing to do with
know
no
that
glow
he
up.
really wanted me. And so I tested him a couple times. Like one day we were supposed to go to Chicago. Deron didn't have no job, but he gave me half of the money that he had, and that was kind of like that was a sign to me, like, okay, he's serious.
Wow, you talking about that $50 I gave you? I
Yeah,
had like $100 in my account. She like, I'm finna go to the mall with them. I'm like, okay, well, shoot, I'll send you down there with some. I gave you half of what I had.
that's when I knew it was real. I'm like,
Cause wherever a
oh,
man's heart is, there also is his treasure.
I knew it was real
Or is it the
then.
other way around?
Wherever a man's treasure, I don't know. One of those. It's the same.
Hey,
You
listen,
saying the
for
same
for
word.
all y'all Bible scholars out there, y'all know what verse I'm talking about. All right, listen, my heart was there.
Yeah.
Also, was my treasure,
Yeah.
my money.
And he really was treating me right. Like
She
I
she made me work. I ain't gonna
yeah,
lie.
he really was treating me right, which made him a choice. That's what made him a choice and not an option because the other options wasn't willing to work.
Even after 8 years of just like, oh, okay, he's single now. I'm gonna just chop
12,
it up. 12. My bad.
11.
My bad. Oh,
The 12th year is when you stop playing.
my bad. Ooh, that's the number right there. Huh? 1, 2, 12 years of marriage is gonna be like, okay, we're gonna have a big old kickback or something. Yeah. Yeah, no, she made me work. I ain't gonna lie. It was October 23rd, 2020, when we was like, okay, we boyfriend and girlfriend. And, we started to get a little bit more serious and, introduced her to my family. And I had already been around her family. And so, you get to 2020. We still smoking at this time. We still getting lit. It wasn't until, I think, the end of that year, 2020, where we started to get back into reading the Bible more. We was praying more. We was reading our devotional books.
Yeah, I started reading his devotional book, and the
Yeah.
word literally started permeating my heart. And I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea, but all of a sudden we'd be high and I'd be talking about Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We would have, and I ain't gonna lie, like there was some great conversations. We'd be sitting there
Really?
smoking, and it wasn't like we was getting high talking about anything. We was talking about, we was talking about God, the Bible, Jesus, and we thought we was getting deep, right? Like, because
Probably wasn't making
we
no
probably
sense.
wasn't making no sense. That's why we thought we was getting deep. But we were sitting talking about God, and the further along we got into literally, getting closer to God, we sat down one day and we was like, listen, if we call ourselves Christians, if we're gonna be doing this the right way, we was like, we can't be having sex no more, we can't be smoking and drinking. Like the Bible tells us to keep a sober mind. It also talks about like, having sex out of wedlock, and how that should be kept from marriage, all this other stuff. So he was like, okay, we gonna do this. We gonna we
Yeah,
gonna do it the
and
right
nobody
way.
had to tell us we were sinning, but the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit.
I'm like, you I was thinking it, but I wasn't gonna say it out loud. I was just gonna she came out loud. I was like, you know what? I was thinking
Because
that too.
I felt led to just stop
Yeah.
having sex. I'm like,
We should
if
just
we, because what's crazy is even though Deron literally went to Christian school all his life, except for when I met him in middle school,
yeah, that 1 year.
like I don't know how it never registered that we was both Christians. It was like he told me he was Christian. It's like I'm a Christian too. You a Christian? That's crazy.
That's
And
crazy.
I knew what sin was. I knew everything that I was doing was not according to God's will. Nobody had to preach to me about sin for me to stop sinning. People be like, y'all don't want to talk about sin. People know they sinning. People know. No, we not gonna act like sin is okay, but people know they is in sin. I knew I was in sin when I was doing it. Guess what I said? I'm already on my way to hell.
So wow. Wow.
Or I know God forgives me, so He gonna forgive me.
That used to be the one I used to use too. Like, shoot, I mean, if I ask,
God forgives.
if I ask, He gonna forget. But
the Lord know my heart.
that's a big one. But the whole thing about repentance is turning.
Yeah, and the whole thing about it was
turn.
there's a way that your life goes
Mhm.
when you choose to live in sin, and that was why I was feeling everything. I was feeling depression and anxiety and all these different things is because I'm literally bringing this stuff on myself. But all the stuff I'm out here doing because I'm decided to live outside of God's will. And that's the consequences of it. There are consequences for sin. Even though you're forgiven, even though you're saved, there are consequences. And, you have to live in those consequences. But I didn't want to live in those consequences no more. I wanted to be happy. I wanted a good life. I was tired of being depressed. I was tired of being sad and suicidal when nothing was wrong.
Yeah. So God, he started to transform our lives because we know that when salvation comes, transformation comes also. And it's not something that happens overnight. It takes time. So he started to transform our lives, and we got to a space where we was doing our very best to live according to what the Bible says, right? And obviously, in that space, we're reading the Bible more. We're praying more, or at least more than what we usually would. And then you get to 2021, and we're now watching Evolve Church, which is our home our church home. We're watching Evolve Church online now. I had joined in 2020, right before the pandemic happened, but she hadn't joined yet. And so she was going back and forth between two churches, watching them online. And she got to a space where she just was like, I'm going to just chuck the other one up and I'm going to just watch Evolve just because that's the one you watch. And then, she was seeing, obviously, like, Pastor he come with that
Wait,
fire.
not yet. What really happened, I was still watching both. And then you took me to a Wednesday night encounter.
Was that, I feel like we was watching service one day and you just said, like, I'm just done watching them.
Yeah, but that was after Wednesday night encounter.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You positive?
Mm-hmm.
You 100%?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it was after, because we went to Wednesday night encounter. And I just liked how he allowed the Holy Spirit to flow. Literally, I understood spiritual things. And so, y'all not going to pray? Y'all just going to worship? I mean, not y'all not going to pray. Y'all not going to speak a word? It's just worship in here? Oh, y'all really following the Holy Spirit? Oh, y'all love God for real? Oh, I like it here. I like this church. That's what made me like Evolve. And I was straight out the world. But the fact that they was listening to the Holy Spirit, and I barely even knew what the Holy Spirit was, but I understood spiritual things. And I'm like, oh, they following the way that the Spirit is moving them. I like this church. And then that's when, like, we still was watching from home. And eventually I was like, I'm done watching both. Pastor Word just hit different.
Mm-hmm.
It literally was smacking me in the face. And it was stuff that I'd like. It was confirmation and all kinds of stuff going on. And I prayed and I asked God to make the decision for me. And he chose Evolve.
That's magical that you just can remember certain things in the timeline, bro. Like,
yeah.
But again, I guess we had, so 2020 New Year's Eve was New Year's Day.
When you stopped smoking?
When we was like, you know what? This is the last day.
For you, it was New Year's.
It was New Year's.
For me,
yeah,
it was January 10th.
It was January 10th.
It was my best friend had a birthday party, and I said, this is going to be my last day smoking and drinking. I'm going to go out with a bang for her birthday. I didn't, I was drinking, but couldn't feel the alcohol. Or could I? I'm lying. I think I've lied about that story multiple times because we didn't go to the next club because we was too drunk. We were supposed to go to Skybox.
It's okay. The alcohol do stuff to you.
Yeah.
I mean, we do stuff to you. Yeah. So, at this point, we are like, okay, once you give your life to Christ, the things that you try to dabble in, it doesn't work the same way it used to, right? For me, I'm like, okay, I don't have this love-hate relationship anymore with marijuana. Now it's just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want this anymore. So I got to a space where I was like, all right, this is literally as we're smoking a blunt. This is it. After this, ain't no more.
Yeah.
That's it. And I got to watch my body go through this weird withdrawal state, and it was beautiful because I was like, man, that's what I was like. That's what my body was holding on to. I'm glad I don't have that no more. And for those who either have tried to stop smoking marijuana or you want to, you'll experience the same thing. And I don't wish that upon anybody, but if you have been smoking for a very long time, your body now has told itself that now it cannot function without it. So when you don't have it, you now then have to relearn how to control your emotions and all that stuff when you're in it. So for me, I stopped. And for 2 weeks, it was tough to do just about everything, just because my body was like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
It was the cold sweat. His body reacted as if he was on crack.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was really weird.
A lot of people gonna be watching this and be like, "Bro, what? It wasn't weed then, bro." Because stuff.
It was weed. It was weird. It was weird to watch. I felt so bad for him because I hadn't stopped smoking yet, and my body didn't react the same when I did because I didn't just stop cold turkey. I stopped for a week, and then I went back and I tried to smoke, and I had an anxiety attack, and then I stopped completely.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't do the same thing for me. Probably because I wasn't smoking as long, and to me, I wasn't addicted. I could have stopped smoking at any time. I was only smoking because it was around.
Mm.
Honestly,
Yeah, it
it was
was.
always around. I had wanted to stop smoking when the pandemic happened, but for whatever reason, I said I was done buying weed, and all of a sudden it just kept showing up to my front door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the enemy wanted to keep us distracted, and
Hmm.
the withdrawals was supposed to remind me of the good times that I had when I was high and all the good stuff. So, we stopped smoking and we get to a space where now we're sober minded. And now we like, all right, we about to do this thing and we about to really walk this thing out with Christ. We're gonna really give our lives to Christ and we just gonna and it wasn't until we joined Evolve or when we came in community with Evolve where we got to meet, amazing people, some very wise people, what we consider wise counsel,
Yeah.
um, and just people that we're able to fellowship with, and they pour into us, and we pour into them. And ever since then, man, we have been on fire for
Yeah.
God. I mean, even with you doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, we did have like we have so many more testimonies, but there's one that I do want to mention before we end, and it's as we began to follow God, it was like somebody cut the lights on,
mm,
and there was things about ourselves that I don't think we noticed before, and things in our relationship that I don't think we noticed before, and God told me to break up with Duran.
mm,
And
dump.
this was the first time I ever heard God speak.
She dumped me, y'all.
You know what? Well, God didn't say break up with him. He told me to let him go. And it was weird. I had never heard God speak before, but it was the weirdest thing I ever heard in my life. Not that God's voice was weird, but the fact that I had this, it was just, I just knew that I was supposed to let him go. And I'm like, this is weird. This is so weird. And I ignored it. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna break up with him after Valentine's Day. Y'all, was so cruel. That was
So
so
you ignored
cruel.
it for a long time?
Not a long time. I probably started hearing it in January.
Wow.
No, I probably started hearing it before then. I just know when I started hearing it, I was like, okay, I'm breaking with him after Valentine's Day. But before Valentine's Day could come, I think I had broke up with you, or well, no, I didn't break up with you. I told him we should take a break, and that was when you packed all your stuff and left.
Which is probably what God wants, because I mean, I had the chance or the opportunity to once where I was living at, that house got sold to someone else, and either our lease was coming to an end or we were still in the lease, but he just said y'all gotta, and I didn't know much about properties or renting from a landlord at that time, and so I didn't know that technically if we still had a lease he couldn't do that, but I want to say our lease was coming to an end, so he told us we had to go, so I ended up coming to Shack you, which then made stuff worse than what they were, which is probably part of the reason why he was telling you to let me go, because on our way to we were on our way to something that was far more greater than us, and us shacking up very much could have ended us before we could have even actually started. And so
True.
I was living with her for a little while. And when I think about it, sometimes I would think that I would get like my pride would be hurt just because I had lost my job due to the pandemic. That whole software gig I had, they ended up doing their own thing and shut down or whatever. So I lost that job, and then I ended up losing my house. And so I guess part of me felt like the only good thing I had was you and everything you had. You had an apartment, I had a car, you worked, I didn't. So it was like, take my car. I'm at the house cleaning it up. It was like it seemed cool, but I had my mom, right, that I could have gone back to my old room that I believe I was supposed to go back to, but I was just being um I was being human, and I
Yeah.
just wanted
And
what I wanted,
and I feel like God wanted us to get closer to him before we ever got closer to each other.
which is why you had to let me go, because that
Yeah.
wasn't gonna happen if we living under the same roof. We
Yeah.
ain't engaged. We just dating.
Yeah.
I think I know you because I've known you for 12 years. Whole time I
Whole
don't know
time did
you.
not know each other
I
at
just know.
all.
Yeah. I met you in 7th grade, and I see you, and we chat. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I didn't really get to know you until I lived with you. I mean, it was like that with me in college. I didn't. I lived with people that I thought I knew, and it was like, oh no, like I thought I knew you. You don't do the dishes. You barely keep the living room, the bed. You barely keep your room clean. Like, oh no, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I would have never known though had I moved in with him. So like
Yeah.
living with you, it was like, we was learning stuff about each other that we wouldn't have learned had we not moved in with one another. And
Yeah.
you know, sometimes we just hard headed and we do stuff on our
Yeah,
own.
we really are. And so like God was just pushing on me to let him go. And so I told him like we need a break. But I didn't let him go. I let him leave. I said we need a break, but I was not expecting him to move his stuff out. It was so like that was such a dramatic thing. Like he literally looked and he got up and he started packing his stuff. And I was like, wow, bro, what the heck is going on? And I helped him take his stuff down because I didn't want him to think that I was breaking up with him, even though I felt like that's what I was supposed to be doing. And so he went, he packed all his stuff, he took his stuff downstairs, and he left. And I was just like, we kind of talked about it. And then I don't know what happened. I think that next day I was just crying. I was all over the place. It felt like a breakup. I got into it with people on Facebook. It was just really ghetto. It was really ghetto. Um, and yeah, and the reason I knew that God was saying it is because I went up for prayer one day, and she was like, God is saying, you hear him just fine. That's him. And I told her, and she was like, I know him. He's such a good guy. Why is God telling? She said, I don't know. But she said, God says, you're going to see him again. And when you see him, he's not going to be the same.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, cool.
Now she trying to figure it out for
Because
you.
I really was. And that's when I told him. And when I told him, like, the truth, like, God is telling me that I have to let you go. We was literally in his parents' driveway. He was going to get clothes so he could spend the night at my house. And he was just like, okay. And he took me home, and I said, I don't know what this means. I go in the house, and I think all that night we didn't really talk until the next day. And even the next day, like when I tell you that breakup caused so much friction, we didn't even know how to talk to each other. We didn't know if we were supposed to be friends. We didn't know if we were supposed to. We didn't know anything. He like, well, God told you. He was like, why he didn't tell me? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know what this means. I don't understand. We couldn't understand it. We couldn't wrap our head around it. But in that time, God was able to reveal to us reasons why we needed to break up. For one, I was putting Duran in the spot of God. Um, I was no longer going to God about things. I would just tell Duran, and I would just expect him to give me the answers. I would expect him to protect me and lead me and guide me and do everything that the Holy Spirit is supposed to do and everything that a husband is supposed to do. But we not married. We not even engaged.
Nope.
And Duran, what was you doing? What was you doing?
I ain't gonna lie, I was living. I was enjoying I was working. I had a job at that time. I was reading my Bible. I was literally walking around my job with my Bible at that time. They used to call me what they used to call me. I had a devotional book and my Bible I used to bring to my job, but they used to call me the Bible man or something. They used to call me
It
something.
wasn't preacher.
It might have been a preacher. Well, I had one guy calling me that, or a couple guys, but they was brothers. I worked where I was working at. It was a mixed crowd, and so I had my brothers call me preacher, but I had people of maybe like Latino or Hispanic or even Caucasian. They was like, oh, that's the Christian man right there. And I was honestly I was proud of it. I ain't gonna lie, just because like it wasn't something that like I was trying to boast in or about, even though like sometimes I do now. I just boast in the fact that like, yeah, bro, I love God. I'm a Christian. But I really was, and I still am, on fire for God. So I was just bringing my Bible. So like, to work. So on my lunch, I'm reading it. My little 10-minute, 15-minute, I think I had 15-minute breaks, two 15s at 30 or something like that. I'm reading the Bible, bro. I'm sitting there reading it. And that's really what was going on. I mean, and for me, like every time I'm single, I just really try to spend time and figure out where I can improve as a man and even as a son of even being a son of God. God, where can I get better? Where can I improve? That wasn't always my mentality, but now that we're growing in God, I'm just like, okay, what can I do better? And it wasn't really even that long we was separated, or it
Mm-mm.
was.
So we were separated, and then like a couple days later, he came to bring me my Bible because he bought me a Bible, and got it delivered to your mom's house, so you had to bring it to me. And it was the night of men's bowling. I never forget. The men at the church went bowling, and you
I remember
came,
that.
and you had just got your glasses.
Why you lick your lips like that, girl? Dang.
Oh my head, bro! Listen, you came in the door with the Bible, and you just was so he literally looked like a whole new dude. He had the fresh cut. Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
did. I felt like a new dude too.
It was so crazy. You just look different. And I'm like, oh, okay, he about to go bowling.
Yeah,
I had some locks. I thought I was finna have locks.
you did. Yeah, you thought you was gonna have locks.
And it was just crazy. And so
I remember that night. I remember getting poured into by the men,
yeah.
specifically Vonnie, Pastor Vonnie. I remember asking him for his advice on the matter concerning me and you, and yeah, he gave some really good wisdom.
Yeah. First he just kept saying like that don't sound like God. God is not a God of division. Da, 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 da,
Yeah,
da.
yeah, but that's really all, because God wasn't telling us to divide. He was just saying, "Let me go." That didn't necessarily mean like you had to like drop off the face of the earth. Lost your number, lose your address. Never speak to you again. Right? Like it wasn't how like what Paul was talking about. When he was saying, beware of those people. Stay away from them. Which were
Yeah.
people in the church. He was just saying like, listen, I get that you like him, but the way y'all going about it is not a way that I would condone or even approve of.
Yeah.
So you have to let him go.
I felt like Abraham when God told him to sacrifice his son, bro. Because I'm like, bro, I've wanted Durant all
That's
this time.
that's and it really could have just been a test, right?
Yeah.
Like you really want him, but you love me. So I'm gonna test. I'm gonna test you. I'm gonna tell you to let him go.
Because I feel like he wanted to see if I would do it. Or I don't know. I really don't know. But
That's beautiful,
I
dude.
literally felt like Abraham. And I'm like, God, I've literally wanted this guy. And I felt like you gave him to me. And now you taking him away. Like, what happened? Like, am I not supposed to ever have him again? And it was just different. And like during that time, after like a couple days later, I went to my mom's house to help her with my sister. She bought them bedroom sets, and my mama was like, "I need help." We didn't know who to call, so I called him, and I called my guy best friend. Duran was the only one who showed up. We wasn't even in a relationship. He showed up, and that day I was studying how God speaks, and while I'm studying how God speaks, I'm just studying, and I go upstairs in my little sister room, and I hear "Taken Back," and I'm like, "What?" I like, God, you playing with me? I said, God, I don't. I said, if it's really you, tell him. And then I heard, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing." And I'm like, "Yep, yep." So tell him. But I was too excited, so I told him. And Duran was like, "Nah." Duran was like, "No." He was like, "I don't think it's time yet." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And we sat outside and we talked in the car until like 2:30 in the morning. He had to work and everything, but he did not want me to get out the car. He literally sat and talked to me in the back of my house until 2:30 in the morning. He had to work at 6. And
Man,
he was
you talking about I
tired.
was dead at work.
And he took me on a date after that. Like he actually started putting effort into our relationship. And that was something else you said that you learned. You said that you learned that um you was able to see that you wanted me for real or something, because at first it was more so like you didn't. It was during that break that you had to learn like that you did or something you said.
Yeah. I think the desire I had afterwards was a lot more stronger.
Yeah.
Just cause, and I wanted a soulmate. I wasn't desperate. I wouldn't have taken anything. Um, and so, when you came and you was making me work, it was like, okay, I want this. But I think deep down in my spirit, I still was battling like, okay, do I really want this?
Yeah.
Right? I feel like I needed a why. And as beautiful as it sounds, it was like when I came to when we finally gave our lives to Christ, I had more of a meaning, purpose behind why I was chasing after you, and it was literally only through seeking God that He gave me a stronger desire to be able to, like, okay, like, I can do this. I don't know. It was just something supernatural happened in that time where it was like,
And it was fast. And this was the year of expedite.
yeah, yep, it was, yep.
It was. I think we was broken up for 12 days.
Pastor King gave a word at the beginning of the year. He does it every year. And I think that's honestly a pastor thing. I think pastors usually give a word at the beginning of the year. If it's not, it should be. But he gave a word at the beginning of the year. He said the Lord spoke to him and told him that that year was going to be a year of expedite. And I mean, it's it can be challenging when a word is given at the beginning of the year to remember it mid-year, right? Even like this year, right? The word that the pastor was given was shift, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so last year it was groundbreaking, right? And I mean, what we went through last year was literally groundbreaking. But when you get to October, September, if you're not careful, you forget the word that was given. So I mean, we was only in I don't know, March, April.
Yeah.
I don't know what month we was in, but whatever month we was in, I wasn't thinking about expedite.
I was,
I was not.
because things were literally moving expeditiously. Like
It
it
was moving
was
quick.
moving so fast. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything. My spiritual growth. That's what like kept me continuously knowing that it was the year of expedite, because we literally went from sinners, like we went from deep in
We
sin
went from
to
being of the world.
literally just following after God, for like literally on fire,
Yeah.
literally on fire,
Mm-hmm.
like.
I was reading
And
the Gospels. So I was trying to figure out like where I could start,
yeah,
and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just start in the Gospels. And I remember just, which I don't recommend, but I just started reading. Like, okay, I'm gonna go through Matthew, and then I'm gonna go through next. I might go to Mark, and then next I'm gonna go to Luke, and then next I'm gonna go to John. I ain't gonna even go in order. I'm gonna just. And I remember, watching like the Bible series that they got on Amazon, and just watching, so many Gospels on Netflix and all that stuff. And I'm just like, man, this is so good. This is so beautiful. And I don't recommend that because like there's so much there's so much in the Gospels. It would probably take you years to really study what it is that happened in just those four books. And that's just four of the 66. And so, but it was cool, right? Because like, I familiarized myself with it. Even now, like I'm studying the book of Matthew, right? Just because, like, I have a desire to want to really know more about Jesus, right? Like when he says something, I want to be able to like study it down to the exact like like the what the meaning meant in Hebrew, like study each word, because like every word is used for a reason in the Bible, right? Whatever is said in the Bible is said the way it was supposed to be said, and so I gotta go. I gotta study, man. I gotta do a lot of studying. And so I was reading the Gospels. I was reading. Um, I started in Genesis, and I started doing it that way too. I got to. I didn't get too far, but I got pretty far, and I was just like, man, like this is good. But I almost burnt myself out doing that just because, like I said, it's so much.
Yeah.
And like I remember reading all of that at that time, and now when I read my Bible and I really try to like really dive deep and do a lot of studying, I be like, bro, I read this like a few years ago, and like, bro, this is deep, bro. Like for like one in particular, and I won't stay there too long, right? But this is just it's crazy to me, and it's mind blowing that I read this and it just didn't stick out to me. But in the book of, I want to say is Genesis. Yes, it is Genesis, and I don't know which chapter. Forgive me, please. But it's basically talking when Jesus, or no, I believe it's when the Holy Spirit. I'm sorry, when the Holy Spirit or God, one of the three, comes to Abraham, and Abraham is interceding on behalf of Sodom and Sodom and Gomorrah, and God is about to destroy the city, and Abraham is like, yo, like if there's so many righteous people in there, I'm paraphrasing, would you destroy? And God is like, no, I won't. And they keep going on, and then they get to a point where like, okay, God sends the angels down to go get Lot and his family. Go get the family, right? And there's people who see him come down, and so they rush to the door, and they run up to the door. Man, I almost got to find it. I don't want to stay here too long. But they basically run up to the door and they like, yo, let us in there, right? We know they in there. We trying to have sex with them. Like, wait. What?
Bro, when he told me this, I'm like, wait, what?
Bro, I was mind blown. I was mind blown. I was like, how did I read this? And I didn't see that.
Yeah, I literally used to study the Bible in chapters. I don't remember half of what I read.
Just cause
I wasn't reading. I was skimming it. I was reading it and I got notes and everything. I don't remember none of that stuff.
I'm about to find it.
I wasn't studying the word. I was just reading it to say that I read it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, forgive me. I really want to find it. I want to say it's either in chapter, because I mean, if you don't believe me, go read it. But it's either in chapter 15 or 16, um, where he's talking about that. But I was just like, wow, that is crazy. You telling me they was trying to have, and these are men. These are men banging on the door of Lot's door, trying to have sex with other men who are angels, which is the reason why God was destroying the city. I was just like, bro, that's crazy. I was at work listening to that. I was just like, wow, that's interesting. Like, but it was one of those things that we were just reading. We was reading, because we really was on fire, and we still are, right? But now we're more strategic and we're more wise in our studying, right? So we don't read chapters at a time, right?
Absolutely not.
We dissect it, right? Like,
I read a verse and then I will study that verse. And if
mm-hmm,
that verse leads me to another verse or something of the sort, and then I'll read that chapter for context. But other than that, I read chapters at night before I go to bed. Like I've been
mm-hmm,
reading Psalms.
yeah,
But that's just because I be needing something to calm my mind before I go to sleep.
yeah.
But am I reading it? Am I actually going to remember everything I'm reading? No.
No, that's why you got to study it.
No.
The Bible tells us to study the word to show ourselves approved. And so, yeah, you know, we on fire, and
Yeah.
we've been at Evolve since. I mean, you know.
Oh yeah, and then how I knew, like, so after we got, I think we got back into a relationship, or we was still single, but we decided to go to the spot that we used to smoke at,
Mm,
and it was a Wednesday night. We watched Wednesday Night Encounter on our phones,
mm-hmm.
and we brought our Bibles. And I'm reading my Bible, and there was a verse that Vonnie sent him to because he was getting tired of his job. And when I went to the verse, it was Colossians 2:23, I think, and it's about working unto the Lord as though, working as though you are working unto the Lord. On the next page inside of my Bible, there's a insert, there's a quote, and it says, "Your husband will never be yours until you learn to let him go." And it blew my mind. There's even a song by Mary Mary where she says something about, "I love my husband and my kids, and I know you gave them to me, so I let them go," or something she say in the song. I can't remember it right now. But that taught me so much. Like, God was trying to tell me that this man doesn't belong to me. He belongs to God first. And so I had to be willing to take my grip off of him and allow him to be the person that he is. And I have to do that every single day, even as especially as a wife, because I can think that this man belongs to me, but his soul and his spirit, everything about him belongs to God first. This is God's man, and my husband second. And so, like, I really had to learn to let him go. I had a control problem. I still sometimes have a control problem. And that's what God was trying to get through to me. And so we wouldn't be where we are today had I not been obedient.
Mm-hmm.
Because our relationship would have went a whole totally different way, because he never would have got to see what he saw. And I never would have got to see what I seen, where I was idolizing our relationship because I wanted one for so long that
Mm-hmm.
I cared more about people seeing me in a relationship rather than me enjoying the relationship. And so now I'm in a place where I can care less if people see. Like, even when it came to our wedding, like, I wanted a big wedding so people could see. And God was like, "For what? You don't need their validation. Marry your man and love him in private.
Mm-hmm.
It don't have to be public. Like, nothing has to be public. As long as y'all know y'all love each other, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks." And God had to destroy my want for validation.
Yep. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Right before we got married, we got engaged, and then we got married, and we
And
we planned a big wedding. But we ended up just we eloped, and we said, you know what, we don't want to wait any longer. We know this is what we want, and so we don't want to spend a whole lot of money right now, at least, because we're just, we don't necessarily have it. And so we just, we had a small wedding, and um, I appreciate I appreciated it. I think a little bit more, just because we had people who are still near and dear to my heart come, and just bless us in it. Um, Pastor Dugard, we call him Father Dugard. He, walked her down the aisle. Pastor Vani was the one who officiated it, and so yeah, we had an amazing time. I do believe that one day we will, or at least I plan to, have a ceremony, just so we can, experience it when we're a little bit more established and well off. We do plan on having like a real ceremony. We plan on having 30,000 people there, of course, just because
not a
now.
real one, but another one, because the first one was real.
Yeah, the first one was real, yeah, but I guess
Traditional.
there we go,
Yeah.
traditional wedding, that everybody considers real, right? It's the one that everybody wants,
Yeah.
but no one can afford.
That's
Um,
true.
yeah, no, we plan on having one at some point, but yeah, we get married and we have our daughter, and here we are today. Um, it'll be 3 years in October that we were dating, and it'll be 2 years next February that we've been married. So we fresh into it. We still going through the motions. We still got a lot to learn. We still growing. And we'll always be growing and always going through the motions, and we'll always be evolving. But um, very glad and honored and privileged to have married someone who literally has been there the entire time from the jump. Every relationship, after every relationship, in between relationships, before the relationships. Even before the relationships. Um, yeah, you were there every step of the way. It's crazy because it feels like a movie, right? The woman is friends with a guy, and the guy doesn't see the woman that way, and so the woman likes him, but he is oblivious to the fact that she likes him, and then one day, years later, they ended up dating or whatever. That's why I just don't believe in best friends. No, there's no way you and someone else can be best friends and y'all just never have feelings for another. I don't agree. I've had conversations with people who they think that that's cool, or they think that um that's like, what is the word what is the word I want to use? They think that that's possible. It's not possible. There's no way that I could be best friends with a female who is attractive and we're actually doing best friend things, because I think a lot of times we say we're best friends and the whole time y'all don't do nothing that best friends actually do. Right? A best friend is somebody you gonna talk and call them every day. Right? Y'all gonna chop it up every day. Y'all gonna be on the phone at least twice a day. Y'all gonna talk to each other about everything. Y'all might link, like, y'all are best friends. If you're not doing it, you're not best friends, right? If you don't know the deepest secrets of that person, you're not best friends. Y'all just say that, but y'all not. You're not. And if you married and you got somebody else that's other than your husband or wife that's your best friend, shame on you.
You know what?
Shame on you. Your wife and your husband should be your best friend.
This is my best friend.
Yeah. And so, yes, this is my best friend. And so, I just,
bestie for the restie. Oh, sorry.
I ain't never heard that before.
Yes, you have.
Ah.
I be saying that, bro.
You say best friend Steve.
I used to call you best friend, boyfriend Steve.
That's what it was.
But you're not my boyfriend no more.
No, I'm not.
So I'll be saying best friends. Best friends for the rest. Best.
I'm your friend. I'm your friend. That's a boy.
But I called you. I guess.
We married, but I gotta be your friend before I be your husband.
You my boyfriend too.
Yeah, I'm all that.
It's my boo thing.
I'm your baby daddy.
Yeah. Baby daddy. You love being called a baby daddy.
I do. I just love the fact that I got husband behind it beforehand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just it kind of it feels like a movie. The person who was always there.
Yeah.
Just so happened to be the one that I was looking for.
Yeah.
And I was looking everywhere else.
I don't know. I feel like I always knew or something, or in the back of my mind or something, because ain't no way I was still here.
Yeah. I mean, if I believe if it would have gone any other way, where if you wasn't pursuing me, I believe that guy would have brought us back together at some point. He would have brought us back together at some point. So even if you didn't pursue me, and you was meant to be my wife, because you are a wife, it's just a matter of whose wife you are.
Yeah.
You belong to. We would have.
Belong with me.
I would have somehow found my way back to you. So
standing by you, waiting at your back door all this time. How could you not know, baby?
What is that?
You belong with me.
Okay, before we go, y'all, I just want to give y'all. I just want to give. You know what?
That's Taylor Swift. You belong with me. Have you ever thought just maybe? Okay, sorry.
You are white at heart.
I'm not a color.
You're right. You are country at heart. With this hat you got on. Genesis 19 is where it's at, guys. If you guys are interested, where they're talking about having sex with the angels. Yeah, you should go check it out. if you are interested.
Read it, brother.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah.
In chapter 19, verse 3, it says, But Lot insisted, so at last they went home with him. Lot prepared a feast for them, complete with fresh bread made without yeast, and they ate. But before they retired for the night, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house. They shouted at Lot, Where are the men who came to spend the night with you? Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them. Wild. It's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so, I guess that's how we're going to end this pod.
Yep.
Moral of the story. Ladies, do not be out here chasing these men. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. Your man is going to come.
Mm-hmm.
Shoo. Me pursuing him ain't never make him want me. At all. It's me valuing myself.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing what I was worth that made him want me and
Yep.
working on myself. And so, girl, wait for your man.
That's good.
And yeah, so I pray that y'all been encouraged by this. I know this was long, but hopefully this story is entertaining.
Yes.
Because I'm tired.
I am too.
I feel like we
Hungry.
should not record these after church anymore.
I mean, yeah.
Because I'm sleepy.
It's a great virtue that leaves from us
Yes.
when we are out ministering.
Yes.
And so,
And I feel like this poured out even more. I'm so tired and we ain't ate. I'm starving.
Well, we're going to go eat until you take a nap.
But we love y'all. And we thank y'all for watching. If you are not subscribed, subscribe to the freaking channel. Like the videos. Comment. Because we're trying to get rich. I'm just playing. But seriously. If
We love the Lord. We love him.
We do love
and him only.
And him only. But subscribe to the channel because that would be nice too.
Yeah, because we're going to put some good stuff in here.
And share these videos with people that you know. Which y'all already have been doing. But
She said we trying to get rich.
We are. I mean,
I
ain't trying to lie.
We're gonna be rich regardless.
Like
I'm. You're gonna be rich in spirit.
Yeah, I do these videos for hope, but it would be nice to make a little cash too.
Hey, you ain't wrong. I'm with you on that.
You know what I'm saying?
But I'm with you on that.
The biggest thing though, for real, is like if these videos are blessing you and there are things that we say that you needed to hear. Please tell me, because that is really why I make these videos, so that they would change somebody's life and the trajectory of the way that they are going. Mm-hmm. And we thank y'all for watching. That's more like it. Peace.
Peace.
I'm tired, bro.